Hello, everybody. It's been a bit of a wait since our previous series. I know things got wrapped up real quick, but we're
hmm
back to close out the day for MENA. Permasneeze and Atomo here, bringing you the action. We find ourselves in the lower bracket with Elevate up against Nigma Galaxy, and one of these teams, at the end of this entire affair, we're gonna have to say goodbye to.
Yes, if you're gonna be feel very awkward, but that's how what happens when you start with only four teams. People get knocked out real quick, and both of these teams. Sorry, no, but this team as well as the previous team went up against PSG Quest, Night Pulse. Elevate looked pretty good, like they were up against PSG Quest for 50 minutes. Night Pulse not so much. So this could be an even tougher game for Enigma Galaxy than the previous series.
Yeah, so for those of you who didn't get to watch the first series, of course, Night Pulse took it the distance up against Nigma
Oh yeah.
Galaxy. It was a barn burner of a first game. 70 minutes, had the lights whacked out of them. But somehow, within that first match, it kind of felt like they ran out of steam, right? After that first match, they ended up having a situation where, okay, suddenly in game 2 and game 3, they didn't really quite look like the same team, Nigma Galaxy, and
Yep.
Night Pulse were able to capitalize on that. Now, of course, you can see from a match schedule here that the first match is already over. That went the way of Night Pulse, of course. They then subsequently went on to drop down to the lower bracket finals, which we'll have for you tomorrow. But here we are settling the lower bracket semi-finals. That's going to be a match ahead of you up against Elevate, who, are touted by some to be a little bit of an invader stack, right?
Oh
They're
yes.
basically a bunch of players from Southeast Asia who are playing through the MENA qualifiers.
Yeah, but from what I understand, you are locked by location, not by your nationality or
Mm-hmm.
your passport. So if you are there physically, there is no reason for you not to compete. So I believe
Yep.
the players from Elevate are actually there, in whatever, their training
Somewhere in
areas,
MENA, of course, in a
somewhere
boot
in
camp
the
in MENA.
location they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's fine for. I mean, I guess that's if that's the rules, then we have to all accept it.
Indeed, indeed. And as we take a look at our close qualifier bracket so far, just a quick recap for those of you who are more of the visual learners. I'm one of you, don't worry. I need to see something to understand.
Seeing is
PSG Quest, they've
believing.
had and you better believe it because PSG Quest had a pretty straightforward cruise to the grand finals. They'll be
Yep.
waiting for their opponents tomorrow. While Night Pulse, of course, you already mentioned it, Otomo. They already gave Nigma Galaxy some trouble. And if we're just going purely by statistics, since Elevate seemed to contend a bit better at PSG Quest, and PSG Quest completely stomped Night Pulse 2-0. This should be a tough game for Nigma Galaxy fans.
To be fair, I'm hoping that Nima Galaxy goes for like more of a late game draft because in game one that looked what worked for them best. Game two and three, I remember seeing them like on active heroes, Tiny for Miracle. He rushes Blink Dagger, but he doesn't compete with the team.
Yeah.
In game two, FBZ doesn't get Blink Dagger on Sand King. He's not available for a lot of these fights. So maybe if Nima Galaxy goes late, that can work for them. And could work against Elevate, who picked Nagasar in both games. And those are very late game. That's a very late game carry anyway.
Yeah, we might see another series go the distance. Seems to be the trend for us, at least, Atomo, but I wouldn't mind it too much. I mean, I think
Yeah.
there are a lot of people watching the MENA region who are silently hoping for Nigma to come back into form. I think when they're playing well and when they're having a good time, they are one of the most exciting teams to watch still to this day, even though everyone's saying, oh, look at Kuro, look at Miracle, they're not what they used to be. But
Uh-huh.
this is the time for them to kind of prove the haters wrong, right? Because, in that previous series, it almost felt like the frustration was palpable. You could see it show through Sumail's play. He wasn't really having the best game in the mid lane. Hopefully, they can kind of pick things up here.
Yeah, exactly right. The Enigma, a lot of the comments are something, something car, something, something. I was washing it, something, something. My father, that story. But it would be great to see them go all the way. It would be great to see them to make it. I feel the same way about PSG Quest because these guys have been MENA the entire year, shut down by Falcons, and I root for one of them more than the other two teams who are very new to the region. Where it's like, are you really MENA squad? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, you just imagine the type of situation it'd be if, nothing against them, obviously.
Of
Elevate
course.
are some of the Southeast Asia players that we follow in the tier 2 scene for a long time. Mamang Daya, especially, it feels like his success is just a matter of time.
Yep.
But, you imagine these guys from Southeast Asia coming through, and then when we get to the Esports World Cup, they're announcing, oh, the MENA, representatives, and it's a bunch of
From
Filipino dudes,
Indonesia.
and you're just like, yeah, from Indonesia and the Philippines, and you're just like scratching your head, like, this doesn't really seem right. But like we mentioned, rules are rules, and it's all fair play here. If Elevate are able to best their opponents, they'll be the ones moving on to face off against Night Pulse. But we have the game for you very shortly. You know,
Yep.
you already mentioned a bit, Atomo, about what you would like to see from the side of Nigma, right? You want them to play a bit more late game oriented. What about for Elevate? Is there anything that you're expecting based off the game you've seen so far?
I mean, we've seen them also go late game, like the Karinaga Siren, the Mid Zeus. Like, they are also going to be taking a bit late. That's the Southeast Asia special, isn't it? That
True.
don't beat us in our own, no one can beat us in our own turf. Once we hit 50 minutes, we get like buffed with double MMR or something.
So
So
true,
that's
so
what
true.
we see a lot. That's what I expect for both of these two teams. And we are in the draft.
Okay, so we do have ourselves a draft. We'll be hopping in there very shortly. And yeah, I mean, the Southeast Asia late game buff is very similar to what happens at 25 minutes when you have a Bracer, Null Talisman, or Wraith
Oh,
Band. Your power just gets double, whether you like it or not. And sometimes it ends up being quite nasty for the opposing team. We'll see how Nigma Galaxy choose to adapt. They've had a fair bit of time to rest, reset, and maybe step back and maybe watch the replays of Elevate. I'm sure Coach March has been hard at work trying to decipher how they will defeat their opponents here. And maybe it's in this particular series that we'll see the sheer experience in playing competitive Dota come into play.
I wonder if either team will let Templar Assassin through. Nope, let the Templar Assassin through. That was a hero that did, first series, nope, it's not allowed. It's like
No.
you were mentioning, in terms of this qualifiers, got an 80-something% win rate across 36 games. Maybe it might be higher now because a few games have passed by.
Yeah.
But overall, TA has been looking like a very strong core that no one wants to play against.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been banned like... I can't do the math straight off the top of my head, but it's been banned close to 200 games and it's only appeared in around 35. So
Yeah.
that ratio alone should tell you how scary this hero is. Now, Nigma Galaxy, they still have their fair share of pretty strong heroes in this current patch, right? We saw the Zeus show its face in some of the games, but they will ban out the Weaver and opt for the Phoenix first, which has been a comfort pick for them in GH.
Yeah, it does a lot for you, this Phoenix pick. You have long range healing, and you have a very good, I won't say panic button, but a very good like, ayo, everyone just back the hell off or commit to a team fight. You got one or the other. In the previous game, though, they didn't really pair it up with anything like a Mars, a Magnus, a Puck, or a Faceless Void. So I think that really did lead to them taking forever. They did win. That was the game they won. But
True.
some lockdown with the Phoenix would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm looking at the Elevate drafts of the previous games and whatnot, and I'm noting that the IO is still in the pool, something that they could go for, but they immediately snatch up the Tiny that got left behind. So this is a hero that Nigma Galaxy themselves are pretty intimate with. It was game 3 that they brought down Miracle, like you mentioned, but they weren't really able to make this carry work.
No, unfortunately for them. They went for he went for Echo Saber, then he wanted to play with the Blink Dagger and join the team, but he never really was with the team when you needed him. It was very awkward where you itemize to fight, but you don't show up.
Yeah, it kind of felt like one of those situations. All benefit of doubt to Miracle, right? Where his team really wasn't doing hot. So he felt pressured to, okay, I really need to try and amp up and make use of my advantage and try and make action happen there. Unfortunately, that's not how it panned out. As we get deeper and deeper into the pick phase, I really like it's been like this for a while now, but I feel like the whole refresh of the pick and ban stage with so many concentrated picks within the middle section of the draft, it's just so much cooler to see how teams decide to build their lineup. And I think it's always, you have all these bans out at the start, and then from there you need to work, right? So interested to see what Nigma Galaxy have set up with, because they've banned out Grimstroke Snap, which is pretty interesting. Not really the first few I'd go to.
Well, to be fair, GH has been playing a lot of IO in pubs, so that might lend it. It's like, Snapfire is great against Phoenix, Grimstroke's great against IO. Maybe Nigma Galaxy is building for that. But then again, GH already has the Phoenix. So, if you have Phoenix on your team, that's probably who's going to. It's not like Phoenix picked up a Kirk is like, I'll take. It's like, no. Sit down. Give it to GH. He's been the more prolific Phoenix player in the team.
True. CM picked up by the side of Elevate. This is just a very solid all-rounded support. I think especially if the Facet able to grant your allies mana every time you cast a spell, especially useful for a hero like the Tiny, who doesn't really have the best innate mana pool, right? And just regenerating that. So being able to sling your spells out over and over, it's going to increase the kill potential on this hero by a lot.
Really, I also felt the other talents looked better, but we'll see because I've seen both being picked up, and I like the other like the cast range better, but we'll see if
Mhm.
that's what they're gonna go with. It's like the old it was the old Arcane Aura for CM that used to do that. They put FBZ. They're very much sticking. Is it Clockwork? No, it's Venomancer. They're very much sticking to a lot of their previous picks that won them the game, which is the Brewmaster on FBZ. Venomancer on Croaky didn't win, but it looked pretty damn good. He was very farmed, went for all these nice aura items, and they lost, but he looked like he was having good impact.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of points in the game where that Venomancer was higher net worth than the opposing mid, right?
Yep.
That was the state of affairs that Nigma Galaxy were in. Now, there aren't many stuns, a lot of
No.
slows and magic damage and burn and
Oh
ways
yeah.
to, ignite that nice little Cinder Brew and whatnot, but not a lot of ways to keep heroes in place. And especially if the insurmountable coming out from the tiny could prove to be a problem. I kind of dislike starting the drafts out like this because in a way you're putting pressure on your last two picks to have that
Exactly.
control. But let's see what Kuroki has cooking up.
It's like now you have to pick something like a Puck and Faceless Void, or your
Yeah,
team just really lacks team fight.
yeah.
And or what are you gonna do? Maybe what if Sumail wants Timbersaw? It's a really good Timbersaw game, but then it's like we have another issue. We're still lacking lockdown. So
Yeah.
Enigma Galaxy, I agree with you. When you draft two supports without stuns and an off lane who kind of basically doesn't have stuns outside his ultimate, it's not the best feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And so far, when it comes to Mamang Daya, who I think is the most at least notable player on the side of Elevate. So for those of you who
Okay.
aren't aware about the roster, it's Kama, who did his time in Made in the Philippines, as well as Zerxia back when they were in Dota. Mamang Daya, who was around Neon, all these other different teams. A lesser-known offlaner named Fiend,
I don't know that
and
guy. Yeah.
support combination of Dalul and Boomy. So Boomy, I believe he used to go... I don't remember what was his other name that he used to go by. Let me just do a quick check. I believe there was a point in time where he went by Xavius, but he was playing a bit on Polaris and 747 and SMG as well. So a pretty veteran captain in the scene. So cool to see them picked up. But speaking of cool, Darkseer Sand King selections coming out here. Elevate, they are giving us something spicy. This might just be a tiny position 4, and we've just been kind of thrown a little bit of a curveball.
Yeah, this is awkward, right? Like, which one of these is going to be? Could it be Tiny Carry and Darkseer Sand King 2-3? Is Darkseer going to be 3 and Sand King 4? Or is it Tiny 4, like you said? Then where does Sand King... Sand King mid, maybe? Not so bad
Yeah?
against... Yeah, I like... Elevate very open with their draft. It's the only thing I know is Crystal Main's 5. That's about it. And I do feel like Darkseer is going to be the 3, most likely.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think this might be a situation where we're seeing a Sand King mid actually come out from Mamang Daya. They've had the benefit of basically keeping his hero pool relatively hidden so far. Throughout the first few games in the open qualifiers, all they played was the Zeus. They managed to get it for him every single game. Even in their previous matchup up against, I believe, PSG Quest just now,
Yep.
they only played like Lina and Storm. So that doesn't really reveal much, right? So maybe this is some secret tech that they've been cooking up.
Let's see what Nick Galaxy wants to go for. Will you take your carry now? It might be a bit risky for you because you're still like you don't know anything about what you're playing against, and against like Darkseer, Faceless Void doesn't feel so good because you're gonna take a lot of damage over time. When do you time walk away? So they go with the Ursa. Not bad. The durability is gonna be good, but again, no stuns, not much team fight, and you're up against a team that can actually run away from you.
Bro, isn't this literally the game 1 draft we saw from Nigma Galaxy apart from Kuro's Veno?
Yep.
Like everything else was basically exact carbon copy,
Oh,
right?
yes.
So I'm not really sure. I mean, in that game, Kuro was at least playing the clockwork, so there
Yep.
was a lot of disruption there, and he was doing a great job, mind you.
He did.
And the clockwork has just been completely ignored this game so far.
Yeah, I like it. Nigma Galaxy was like, you know what's the problem? We had too many stuns. Let's put a bit less this time around.
Yeah, we don't need
See
to
how
be
it goes.
killing the heroes. We just we don't need to be holding them down. We just need damage to kill them.
Well, to be fair, that's what you do, right? Like he's thinking, all we need to do is get their lives to 0, and damage does that for us. So
True,
it works.
true. Well, we'll have to see how that pans out, though, because even though this Ursa can scale up to the point where he has a lot of status resistance, There's a lot of things to resist. I mean, you got a bunch of stuns and control and just annoying vacuums. Every time you're in the
Yep.
fray, you're taking damage from ion shells. Elevate, they are in a pretty good
Timbersaw.
spot, I feel. Yeah, Timbersaw could come out, but then again, you're literally playing team no stuns, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, but you look at Elevate Gaming, apart from Tiny, the other three don't have burst damage later on. A pipe on Veno and Greaves gives you a lot, and Timbersaw with Eternal Shroud could also survive. It's like we don't really need to kill heroes, we can just hit buildings and let them come to us. This is gonna be the goal with Wind Ranger. Whoa, okay, that's a Sumail hero.
Okay, well, not too concerned about the Darkseer because you can always outpace him. And a good bit of control, I guess, solo pick-off potential. This still leaves things open in case, whichever core you're potentially laning against, whether it's a potential Tiny mid or a Sand King mid or Darkseer mid, I literally have no idea. But Wind Ranger matches up pretty nicely into them, right? You're always going to be able to harass
Yeah.
them from a safe distance and keep yourself at relative safety.
I mean, we say that, but again, you're up against Surge and two people who are likely to get Blink. The Sand King and the Tide, regardless of the roles, they get Blink Dagger. So we'll see what Elevate Gaming is going to go for here. It's been a very roller coaster of a draft. How are they going to finish it off for us?
It's so weird because I feel like, Atomo, I'll be real with you. I feel like the games that we've gotten so far have just
Meepo.
been so crazy. And there's the Slark coming out from Elevate.
Why
This
not?
is something that we've seen Karma play throughout multiple stages of his career. I think when they were playing the Open Qualifiers game, they brought it out in the first game as well. I don't really see the value of it. I think it's decent in lane against Brewmaster and doesn't really worry so much about Wind and Ursa, but it doesn't feel like the game winner for me, right? There isn't really anyone who's hitting these towers, getting these objectives, but it is what we said. It's got to be Mamang Daya on the Sand King in the mid lane, Fiend playing the Darkseer on the off lane, and it's a support Tiny instead of the traditional sort of carry Tiny that we've seen time and time again this patch.
All right, so it's very different ideas, right? Elevate Gaming, they have these very good heroes who are in and out of the fight, somewhat elusive. Blink Dagger builders on at least 3 of them. Slark is very mobile. You have Surge to help everyone else. Nigma Galaxy, no lockdown, but good solid team fight. Both, and I do think that, like you say, like the Slark feels kind of like, 6 out of 10, whatever.
Yeah,
as a pick.
like he's fine. Like he does okay into the carry matchup, but it doesn't really convince me as a game winner.
Yep.
But that hasn't really been a problem because they have so many other components in the Sand King, in the Darkseer. We still haven't seen this combo come together. I'm just imagining some crazy wombo combo with the vacuum into 4-man barrel strike type situation. Let's make it happen here. Elevate up against Nigma Galaxy for survival here in the MENA qualifiers. One of these teams is going to go home at the end of it. And based on what we've seen so far, results-wise, it seems like Elevate are in a pretty good position to give Nigma a run for their money.
Oh, by the way, the Crystal Maiden did take Frozen Expanse. So that's the one I was looking for. The extra cast range as well as extra AoE being added.
Okay.
I told you, man. And Darkseer, he did take the intelligence cannot be lower than his strength. It starts with 4 gauntlets of strength.
Yeah. That's an innate one. So this guy is smart as hell.
I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see, anything else? What does Slark have? Oh, he got the thing that we hate, which is a facet that used to do what you used to do anyway. That gives you what you used to do, which is the pounce gives you SS shift stacks. It's like, oh well, I need it and I have to pick it, but everyone else gets a new toy to play with.
Yeah, I mean, Slark, he just gets his main passive latched onto the innate, right? The healing coming out and now renamed Barracuda. Very cute. But yeah, I mean, either way, haven't really seen much of this Slark hero, if I'm being honest, in the current patch. Not sure how he does. Of course, the other alternative in terms of facet for Slark would have been Dark Reef Renegade, which means that his sort of previous healing effect lingers a little bit if he's not near allied heroes. So that kind of feels a bit more situational. You're not too worried about it. You want to play on the aggressive and get those stacks up, because that's the key to Slark's fight. I'm just wondering how feasible it is for the Slark to fight extended against like a Ursa or maybe a Wind Ranger, because that doesn't sound like a fun affair. Speaking of not fun affair, it looks like Kuroki under threat of going down to first blood, slowed down to a crawl, avalanche early, and the lull gonna help Fiend out in grabbing that first kill. Very nice early bonus for that Darkseer.
Oh well, that's not exactly how you want to start. It's gotta be a tough game for Kuroki, right? You're up against people who have stats resistances, who can jump away with Surge. You have no like. Apart from Crystal Maiden, I feel like Name of Galaxy the entire game are going to not have an easy time getting kills.
Yeah. I think the main thing for me as a Venomancer player myself, I know, don't throw
Scum,
tomatoes just yet. Look, okay, relax. All I'm saying is that
heathen.
okay, when you're playing Venomancer, the last thing you want is people who don't care about your slows, and with all these, instant gap close and even a way to pull your allies into your opponents, like the vacuum and stuff like that, it's really annoying because suddenly it negates everything you want to do with setting up a field where your opponents cannot pass, keeping a safe distance, keeping them slow. You got the search going on as well. So it seems like Elevate have preempted to a certain extent this Veno and have drafted pretty nicely around it, I must
Yeah,
say.
they already know, like, basically both supports feel like they're in a tough spot. Even the Phoenix, where maybe the egg isn't the easiest to bring down, but you can certainly run away from it well with this draft.
Yeah, yeah.
As we're playing this lovely game where we're gonna have the viewers guess how the lanes are going. Oh, okay, we're not doing it anymore. They look like they're going pretty well for Enigma in terms of CS.
Yeah, not really surprised there. I mean, the CM and the Slut present a decent kill threat, but it's always the situation of the Slut these days where, in the past, everyone always thinks, okay, you're playing a melee offlaner, you pick Slut, and then he steals Essence Shift. Should be a win, right? But then
Yep.
I think everyone just realized that you cast spells on Slut and he is so sad.
And you have hotspot on the Phoenix, so going on him to try to trade hits doesn't feel so good in the laning phase as a Slark. Because you go there like, wait, as his health drops, he does more and more damage. That ain't fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Dying Light coming into play. A lot more consistent of a talent as compared to the Hotspot, which we were discussing as well. Like the Phoenix having that additional benefit tied to needing to level Sunray and hitting a specific area with your spells. It's so much easier to just have that consistent mini Radiance going on in
Yep.
accordance to how little HP you have. And yeah, FBZ and GH doing very well here in terms of the lane presence, right? They're just pushing you back along with the Fire Spirits and forcing Boomy into a very awkward position.
GH's. He's doing a really good job just standing right there next to them. They're taking a lot of damage from this Phoenix. GH, this is one of those heroes that he's most famous on, along with the Call and the Earthshaker. So I do expect good things from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it almost feels like with how Nigma Galaxy snap picked the Brewmaster as well, this should be a combo that they've practiced a lot. FBZ is a Brewmaster specialist, so
Yep.
you're already seeing them roll out the barrel, proc it with some Fire Spirits. It's a lot of harass damage, forcing back the safe lane of Elevate, and
Oh.
forcing a kill onto Boomy. GH grabs that one, very easy pickup. It almost seems effortless.
And this Lark, it's like you don't have a whole lot of health. You don't really want to go up there and be taking too many hits. It's not fun to be a Slark in a situation like this. And you think, oh, Slark CM, that's a good kill lane, but not against a very tanky Brewmaster. So bottom lane very much in favor of Nigma Galaxy. 19-6 to the 12-0. Not likely to get much better either.
Speaking of not getting better, the Lul getting run down by Miracle here, starting to rack up those Fury Swipe charges and just easy swipe down. Not enough time for the Ion Shells to really have any impact there if you're just dying so quickly. And that's the power of the Ursa in this lane.
Especially backed up with the Venomancer. They get a kill on Karma. Sorry, Karma, but this is a bit scary here. Remember, this is a team that PSU Quest didn't struggle against, but certainly didn't walk all over either.
Yeah, and it's so funny to see it happen this way in this game, because our main gripe with Nigma in the 2 games that they lost against Night Pulse is we felt they were playing a bit too slow with an active lineup, right? They were picking heroes that could go early, but they weren't really putting the pressure. But it seems like just on fundamentals alone in the lane, they're getting the better of it up against Elevate. I say that though, but with the double Ion Shells putting on the pressure onto Kuroki, he ends up going down. The Lul still trying to force the issue onto
angry.
Miracle. He needs to watch himself. Fiend doesn't have mana, and that's the only thing keeping him alive for now.
Miracle, he is kind of low health. Sumail thinking of rolling. We might see a long range power shot just to slow them down. Oh, wow, they're really going for it.
Try. Fiend, I believe, still has the Surge available, but looks like Delul will be the one to take the hit instead. Just gets killed off. Last touch over to Sumail, making his rotation worth it. Nice early dodge over there, and I think it's so important for a hero like Boomy with the TP out. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like it's so important for the Wind Ranger, who is a hero who can contribute from such a far range with the power shot, right?
Yep.
So you just want to make that work.
I'm interested to see what Molang Dai builds. What how he's already maxing out Stinger over
Mhm.
anything else. That's the new ability. Not quite completely sure what it does, but I do know that. So it's a bit of like an AOE nuke. So that's what he wants to go with, and he's going for phase boots, not rushing Bleak Dagger or Aghanims that we've seen some of the Sand Kings go for.
Yeah, so far the
Kuroki,
build just seems to be phase boots into Axe, but now Kuroki wishes he had a
he's
phase boots
probably
because
dead.
he's being run down. Very simple affair, vacuum back into the double ion shell. That's a classic Dartseer play if you've ever seen it. And you already said it, Tomo, this is going to be a pretty difficult game for the Veno. Well, it starts early, it seems.
Among Dai was thinking of going for that amplify damage. Sumail's able to get in time. Nice power shot coming out. Yeah, the rotation, Sumail, he can rotate more just because his epicenter's cooldown so much longer. But,
Oh.
oh, Miracle.
Yeah, and the top side, 3 members brought for Elevate, make quick work of the bear, and they're doing a great job playing through their Dartseer. This is what you want to see when you pick a hero like this on the offlane, when you have that tiny pairing, you want to try and make use of the catapult timing to put pressure on the tower, which is exactly what they're doing. And on the flip side, Enigma Galaxy trying to mirror some sort of pressure onto the Slug, but it's an easy pounce away, so already ramping things up on both sides.
This is a bit scary. You look at Miracle's net worth, it is the lowest among all the cores. To be fair, so is Karma. He's not like doing that well, but of the two, usually the Ursa wants a Battle Fury, then you want to farm for your other items, whereas Slark is a little bit more active. He can do a little bit more with less gold.
Yeah, and I think not just talking about the carries, right? But just this is ideal Darkseer gameplay. You get the tower so early, suddenly you're really shoving in the waves, you're making so much space for your team, your supports are just unlocked to potentially rotate to the mid lane, and Sumail, he's gonna feel some breathing down his neck because they could just turn around and rotate on him at any point in time. One barrel strike along with maybe a stun or a frostbite, and he's just dead, man.
And Sumail's gonna have to do. Wait, I've said this a bunch of times, but he's gonna have to do some work for the team. FBZ probably going for that triple bracer build. No, he's got double bracer into Radiant, so one bracer less, a little bit faster than the previous game.
Yeah, I think he realizes and recognizes that he needs to go greed very early on because I don't think he can afford to get that. Look, the third bracer felt a little bit excessive,
Okay.
right? Because it makes sense on a hero like the Centaur, you're getting an additional bonus in terms of
True,
the,
true.
the movement speed. But FPZ, he's just getting a little tanky. You want to get to that item ASAP. And yeah, we'll see what the Brewmaster can do. I think it was in the first game where, unfortunately, the Haste Rune going over to Mamang Daya. This is risky stuff. A lot of stuns coming through. Sumail being tossed up and controlled. This Wind Ranger, nowhere to run, just in between 3 heroes. And just gets worked down. Gotta say that was pretty ambitious coming out from the Wind Ranger. But with that Primal Split, they're gonna try and work down Delo, the Tiny, nowhere to run, and chased down by the Fire Bruling. So traded out 1 for 1, but that is so advantageous to Elevate.
Of course. And I mean, Delol, sure, you delay his Blink Dagger by a little bit, but you don't really lose a whole lot of gold when you die, so it's not the biggest deal. But Sumail, who's supposed to be the tip of the spear, that's a bigger problem when you see him die like that. I don't think we saw any Wisdom Rune shenanigans. In the previous game, Enigma Galaxy was all over the enemy Wisdom Runes. They were able to steal multiple across each game.
Yeah. This
As
game,
the
I mean, feeling a bit of a
Correct.
pinch coming out from Elevate. GH caught out, still has the dive available. Still holding on to it though. Trying to find the right angle. Back to safety behind Sumail. And now, Kama forced to pop that ultimate. Shadow dancing away back to safety. Nothing Sumail can really do about that other than snag a free bounty rune. It's another rotation that's not really finding its mark on the side of Enigma Galaxy.
Yeah, in the meantime, both cores continue to sort of be a little bit behind. Kuroki is doing Kuroki things with Evan where he's farming up. Miracle jump away. He's got the ultimate though. He's no easy kill.
Yeah, but having to pop that ultimate all willy-nilly like that so early
Lol.
on is kind of tough. 60 minutes. 60 seconds, sorry. But we're going to try and convert it to kill Delo. Pulled him back in. Ion
bait.
Shells just ripping that poor Ursa apart. Sure, Delo goes down, but you'll take that trade every day of the week.
That's twice now. Delol sacrificing himself for the greater good, getting those cores that he needs to. Miracle, he can still recover. The Sumail kill I felt like was a little bit more impactful. As FBZ, he is about halfway towards his Sacred Relic. That's the first big power spike for Enigma Galaxy, along with a Maelstrom for Sumail. How close is he to it?
FBC, probably getting a little bit of war flashbacks from his time at Boom, right? He left Southeast Asia for a while and he hasn't really been subject to this level of aggression. But now he's getting all that PTSD being packed in, all these teams just running at you non-stop. And what a lineup to do it as well, right? They've drafted what looks like a perfect cookie-cutter Darkseer lineup. Every single one of the cores, even the supports, really benefit from what the Darkseer can bring. And this is where heroes like Darkseer feel so strong, when you can basically enable anyone who walks by you.
At the same time, though, the Phoenix and the Radiance or the Brewmaster all are very impactful against this 4 melee lineup. So it's like, we're also really good. You guys are really good with each other, but we're really good against you at the same time. So the drafts from each other kind of complement or counter, however you want to look at it. Bottom lane, he's stunned, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, this is a Shadow Dance TP out. Nicely done by Karma to
Barracuda.
keep himself safe. And unfortunately, nothing he can do about that. The Barracuda healing coming out from the Shadow Dance. Yeah, it's separate things now. They've changed it up. But
my bad.
no worries. Here's the Frostbite holding on to FBZ. He has a split available but doesn't want to use it. Might just be forced to though. Still being disciplined. Mamang Daya lurking in the wings.
Dodge.
There is the Primal Split. Perfectly done. Now Mamang Daya might be in some trouble. The Shackle Shot doesn't necessarily connect, but Mamang Daya with the Surge trying to run away now. With the 8 covering their bases. FBZ still has that Stomp Hand. I thought for sure he was toast there, but the rest of the tide of Elevate, they're ready to stand their ground and defend. They'll be able to force Nigma Galaxy back for now.
2 problems we talked about showed themselves. One, not a whole lot of damage, of like burst damage from Elevate. FBZ had a lot of time to get his ultimate off, as well as the heal from the Sun Ray. And then we see the egg come out, and what do they do on Elevate? They just bounce. There's no reason to stay there.
Yeah, they want no part of that action. Just immediately do the thing where they just walk away with their legs. Which seems that, most of the time, if you have any stun at all, that doesn't work. But unfortunately, Nigma Galaxy, all they really have to work with is a Shackle Shot that didn't even connect. So Mamang Daya, with the help of the Surge, gets out of trouble. Burrow strikes through Miracle. And yeah, Miracle understands that into those two, he can't afford to try for any sort of attempt there. Quick win probability check. Very
7.
early doors and an advantage over to Elevate already. I'm not really feeling it just yet, but the low the setups, he's been clean with it so far. Maybe that's what Big Daddy Gabe is looking at so far.
Well, Sumail, he's in trouble, but looks like he just in time the epicenter is cancelled and he walks away. I love the change, the epicenter. If it doesn't, you don't fulfill the channel, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
because before
that was necessary. Like Sand King was so bad because of that.
Like you can't pump Fate. The moment you press R, you have to commit, just like they're committing right now.
Yeah, still a bit of a soft situation though. They're not necessarily reaching too far in, just grabbing what they can. Kuro on the front lines. Very easy pick off for them, and now they're converting this to a tier 1. Not much Nigma Galaxy can do. Alongside the lack of stuns, the only wave clear that they have is the power shot, which they've already used. So taking early control of the map are Elevate, ramping up the aggression big time, and it's not something Nigma Galaxy seem to be prepared for.
And you're gonna have a hard time starting these fights, because whoever goes close, there's no blink daggers yet on Elevate. But once they come out, you're like, who's gonna go? Can you really power shot safely every time? You're gonna get caught eventually. It's risky, even more so for Kuroki, he's very vulnerable.
I'm still, that Venomancer that he played, that one game, yes, he was doing well in terms of net worth, but I think it ended up being a situation where he eventually became free food for the Storm. And it feels like shades of that happening again. GH being pounced upon, the ultimate committed by Boomy, just a quick and easy pickup. Even more Essence Shift stacks going the way of this Slark. Sure, he only has 2, but the fact that he's able to get involved this early on and start ramping them up is a really good sign. And now, charging onto FBZ, I mean,
he's got 1 charge.
Brewmaster, yeah, he doesn't have Sacred Relic just yet, but the Talisman of Evasion helping him dodge out some of these attacks. So, just being pesky, just poking and prodding where they can, and that's what has really characterized the Elevate game plan so far.
He's got Radiance right now, though. It is the first big power spike coming out from FBZ. There you go. Will they want to take fights now? This burn is useful, and as we mentioned, it only gets weaker after you get the Radiance.
Oh, you need to defend this stack. This is a huge set of Ancients that you're just giving away. I mean, Sumail runs in, just gets clapped completely. Nigma Galaxy not really coordinating their move. They're going to lose their mid, lose the stack, and potentially even more if they choose to stick around. Here's FBZ, ready with the split. Pops it early, but again, no stuns. Boomy is starting to walk away. Sure, you might lose the CM, but who even cares? Huge trade for Elevate. They get everything that they could have asked for. They sacrifice their support, and literally nothing of value was lost.
Hey, but yeah, they were able to get the stack as well as a Sumail kill, and not much to give for it in return. And we did see that FBZ uses ultimate, so now you don't have that for the next 2 minutes, which means your
Yeah.
team fight's a lot weaker.
Yeah, that was the power spike you were talking about too, Tomo. You were saying, okay, look, now we got the Radiance. He's going to get things
Oh,
going. Now he has to wait for
FBZ?
another 1.5 minutes. FBZ, the target in their eyes. Epicenter being wound up. Mamang Daya thinking twice about it. Finally gets it out. Maybe this is why, but
Nice grab.
oh, Boomy, exactly where he needs to be. Gets that frostbite to cancel the TP, and FBZ takes a tumble.
This is very worrisome. This is very worrisome. You were supposed to be able to start snowballing with this radius, but it's not happening.
Okay, well, this is a good start though. Being able to get a solo pick off onto the slug who was left high and dry up here. His team was busy making a move, and he thought, you know, maybe top side is safe to farm, but Enigma Galaxy capitalized. Very important kills to kind of try and keep themselves in this game at the moment. It's a 2k gold lead. It's nothing too crazy, but you know, if you keep sort of giving over traits like that, it's gonna be very quickly out of your hands.
The problem is that Radiance comes out just as Fiend also has a Pipe of Insight. So
Yeah.
now a lot of the damage from the Radiance is kind of like, you know, it takes what, 10 seconds or something like that for it to burn through the pipe. It's not exactly that useful.
Mamang Daya fishing for a Phoenix doesn't really land the hook. He needs to get some lessons from Tide Hunter in that fishing game for Crownfall, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, I mean, Elevate, they're doing a good job in ramping up the pressure and continuing to keep things going. Now, I believe there was the blink reveal from Delul as well. Unfortunately, not getting the grab onto the Ursa, but yeah, you can tell, like, Enigma Galaxy are playing so uncomfortable because they're just getting aggressed upon non-stop.
Oh dear. Speaking of uncomfortable, Kuroki, well, he's uncomfortable, but he might be able to turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, the kill onto Fiend here would be huge. He still has the Surge as well as the Mech. Runs back out to safety. Miracle still giving chase. Power Shot not connecting. Still has a little Earth Shot available, but Mamang Daya coming around that. Oh, but Burrow Strike reaches deep into
Miracle.
Miracle's paws, and now being bumped up by that Aghanim's. He can't go anywhere. Even the 8 can't cover his tracks. Now GH will pop back out, but the rest of the team of Elevate have shown up big time, ready to fight. Split available for FPZ, but he's being rooted in place. Sure, you burn up the CM, but who cares? GH is gonna get worked down as well, and FPZ knows that this is not a fight he can win. He just has to give up his allies as more Essence Shift stacks, more advantages, just going the way of Elevate for free.
Man, this is like Surge comes out, and what does Enigma do? They're like, nothing. There's nothing we can do. Power Shot misses. Even if it lands, I think he was the Surge outlasted it anyway. In the Elevate Gaming, they have this ability to go in and out of fights very easily, catch whoever they need to. Enigma Galaxy, they are being outmaneuvered by this superior mobility and lack of stuns.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they are, you know, not used to the type of heat that Elevate are packing. They're just circling the map like sharks. Everywhere you go, somebody is under threat of getting picked off, and now it might just be Sumail in this top side. Pinging out Karma, ready for a jump, has the Orchid,
Nice
gets
Orchid.
it ahead of the wind run, but able to still dodge away onto Sumail. Nicely done. They can't get that connection.
And by the way,
I mean, they're just forcing you all the way back, man.
Mamang Dai just has his Blink Dagger delivered. Delul has his for a little bit. So mobility continues to get more and more prominent for Elvid Gaming.
I mean, if it wasn't prominent before already, right? They were just... And look at that. Karma suddenly down here at this bot side. Silence available. Pressuring onto the Ursa. Yeah, I mean, you gotta enrage. You might just have to pop it.
Nice wall.
Wall there. Vacuum back in. Forcing the ultimate to come out. But they trade it nicely. Heals coming through to try and help Miracle out. There's the split as well. But again, all you find is a CM. What else do you got? Fiend now being slowed down by the Veno. But yeah, I mean, Nigma, they just realized, okay, that's the fight over. We can't choose to contest anymore because the Sand King's closing in. This is a very desperate look from the side of Nigma Galaxy.
Yeah, they have the egg at least, but no split, no Noxious Plague. Your Ursa just uses his ability, all his ultimate as well to run away. So, when does it get better for Nigma? If they can sort of take pick-offs, then maybe they can come back into the game. They do have better Roche potential as well. That could be an option they could think of.
So far, the fight's not working out for them. There's the low with another setup. Silence up onto the Phoenix. No way of egging. He might have the ultimate available, but it's not going to serve much. Here's Mamang Daya in the middle of the whole team, setting up for a perfect team fight for Elevate. Nigma Galaxy are just getting mowed like grass on a lawn. And I mean, Sumail's got to thank his lucky stars that he decided to evacuate early. If not, Delo would have found another.
Yeah, with the moment you can see, right? There's no split, there's no Noxious Plague. We have this mobility that we can jump with, and it works out very nicely for them. Delot's been doing so much work in this game. You know, he's got 11 assists on this Tiny. He feels like in every fight, he's really just starting it off very nicely for them. And by the way, Tiny with no stat items has 2,000 health. This is why this hero is such a good 4.
Yeah, it is disgusting. And not only is it a great body, just, you know, if you get to an early advantage, you can really get the ball rolling. That's exactly what we see from Elevate here. I mean, they've just done a great job in terms of leapfrogging each other in these engagements, right? It's Mamang Daya jumping in, and then the Lol reaching even further, and then there's the Slut jumping over both of them as well. This entire map just being controlled, and this is where things start to get suffocating because you have that vision advantage on the Slut as well. Now, this is a pickup that you need. The Lol with the TP out. Oh, you're kidding! Might just tick on the fountain though, it's not enough HP, even buys the Fairy Fire, but still ends up going down. Credit goes over to GH, but you take what you can get on Nigma.
For a second, I mean, it feels like it took a whole second for him to die. I was like, oh, he's going to be healing and fine afterwards, but they are able to at least get it for them, as well as the Tormentor. So a nice couple of victories going for them. As was going to go for, okay, they get... how was it? It's not bad. The Iron Shot. I thought it was the separate ability, but it's actually the Venomous Plague that gets it. So Venomous Gale that gets it. Just fine.
They used to have it on an ability called Latent Toxicity, but
that was the one.
That was awful. Like it really didn't feel like it did a lot. And now it feels like it's at least a bit more cohesive, right? So Karma needs to keep his eye out for that one. Can't really afford to just get stunned out. Could get bursted down. But he's been on top of things so far. No reason to doubt him. Smoke up. As aggression continues, Elevate.
Roshan.
Keep bringing it higher and higher. Roche being attempted now by the side of Nigma Galaxy in the bot side. Here comes the side of Elevate though. Ready to try and contest.
I think
pretty low though.
Yeah, they might be a bit too late here. It is Ursa, the best Roche taker in the game, and I don't think they're gonna be there in time. The question is, will Elevate still fight? They're going for Kuroki.
Yeah, starting with the easy kill. Aegis already grabbed by Miracle. Ready to try and put the paws out. Mamang Daya with a perfect barrel strike through both of them. Oh, the vacuum into the wall. And there's the team fight that we're looking for. Elevate. They're just holding everyone down. The egg on the backside of the pit, though, it's doing quite a bit. Will stun up some members of Elevate, but it's not enough to save Miracle for now. He just needs to blink out of trouble. GH will do the trick with the Sun Ray over the cliff. But that was still not ideal for Nigma. Sure, they get the Aegis for themselves and they start that timer going. There's still some losses going their way and 8 Essence Shift stacks already for Karma.
It's not too bad, right? I mean, you still got a kill, you still got the Aegis, you have Ursa with 2 lives. It's not... I'd say it's a very even trade when you look at it. And FBZ is getting closer and closer to his Pipe of Insight, about 500 gold away. That will do a lot. Ion Shell becomes less of a problem, Epicenter as well. So this pipe cannot come soon enough for Enigma.
Yeah, you need to get that done ASAP. It's 500 gold off FPZ, almost there. It's the Radiance benefit, helping you out in terms of the net worth. Sure, he dies there in that previous fight, but it's so much work for him to do. And, you know, this last pick Wind Ranger, we haven't really seen it in effect just yet. It's another sort of quieter game from Sumail where, you know, he really needs to come up big for the squad. Hasn't just yet. Maybe in some of these later team fights, we'll see him really start to come online.
Yeah, I'm wondering as well when we're going to see it. A couple of Yule Scepters coming out for Elevate Gaming. One on Delos making his. The other one is finished on Mamang Daya. So they do want to make sure they can control Ursa while he's enraged.
Yeah. And very important item pickup now. BKB complete for Sumail's Wind Ranger. So we were wondering when he was going to start getting more involved. And this item pickup is going to allow him to maneuver the fights a lot easier. The question is if it's too late.
As well as a Blink Dagger for Miracle. So he's also going to be able to have an easier time getting on top of targets and hopefully bring them down. Well, items are coming up. Like, despite the sort of bit of net worth discrepancy, it's not that huge. There's still, Enigma is getting items. Elevate Gaming just feels a little bit ahead with, you know, more blinks, more Yules, more control, and maybe a better draft overall.
Okay, well, with that being said, some of the madness has subsided a little bit, right? I think throughout the 15 to 20 minutes, it was just non-stop running at you. Elevate were putting the pressure on and cranking up the heat. But now they've kind of backed up a little bit. They're farming their next major items. It's given Nigma Galaxy some time to breathe. And with that, they've picked up the key items like we mentioned. Now is their time to strike with this Aegis. Can try and find favorable engagement.
Because
Elevate
Nigma's
unbiting.
strongest when they can be on the offensive. Because if you egg, the towers don't run away, the barracks don't run away, the low may not be... well, it doesn't even go in. Like, when you are playing defensive, you do not want to run away from the things you have to protect. But when you're offensive, it's very good to egg in next to a tower.
Yeah, Miracle. Starting to go to work on this tower in the mid lane. It's already 25 minutes. The fact that it still stands is kind of egregious. Another Barrel Strike coming out, but looks like it's just Mamang Daya still farming away in the top side. They want no part of this engagement.
And still about 100 seconds left on the Aegis. The Enigma Galaxy, they want to maximize its efficiency. Just keep going.
Yeah, this is where the Venomancer is the strongest, though. You can put those low committal plague wards just to scout out the area. And suddenly the angles of approach are a lot more limited for Elevate.
BZ in the front as well. And they found him among that, but can they kill him? Nice. Yules looks like he should be okay. Yes, gets the blink off.
Yeah, clean stuff. You gotta watch that Dust Devil you're following. I mean, the Sandstorm is following him along with the Burrow, so he might just get caught by a stray stun. Watch your step.
I don't know if this is the right thing for Nigma to do, which is try to hunt for kills. It's like, if you go for towers, you get them. If you go for kills, you might not. And this Aegis, it is ticking out.
Yeah, I think the entire sort of spike of power that they're trying to take advantage of has subsided. So it's going to be back to farming, likely for Nigma Galaxy, but this is a very clear indicator for Elevate now, right? It's probably go time for them. If they can sort of, now that this Aegis is down, if they can take a more convincing advantage and really put Nigma Galaxy in the dirt, maybe they could contest for the next Roche.
Boomy, that's the wrong neighborhood.
Gonna just walk up into them, eat a shackle shot, huge vacuum onto 3 though, but it's not gonna result in much because of the BKB pop. Somehow Boomy survives that. I don't even know how. Mamang Daya jumping in with the sheer burst. Kuroki will go down. There's the slot starting to go to work onto GH. Both supports just getting wiped out. The silence, it should proc. No, the egg still comes out. The Sunray's gonna be huge. Miracle up in the air for now. FBZ being controlled, but they're able to turn things around. Sand King going down along with the CM. They finally get the initial kill they were looking for, and the low looking to fall next. Great team fight from Nigma Galaxy, and it all comes back to being able to keep GH alive. The fact that that egg comes off is huge.
He uses a Spirit Vessel on like a couple of last ticks before the Orchid kicks in. And thanks to that, he's able to recover that little bit of health that he needs to get his ultimate off. And when you don't bring out the egg, you are in a lot of problems here for Elevate Gaming. As we mentioned, 4 melee cores, 4 melee heroes on the team.
I'm starting to see one of the reasons why Sand King is a bit hard to make work, right? It's never as easy as just Barrel Strike in, win the fight. You still need to be very concerned about a lot of the damage coming your way, and in that particular case, just gets ripped apart. They just focused him down. Mamang Daya didn't really look like the strong hero we've seen for the past 25 minutes. Elevate, they need to be a bit more selective with these jumps and need to be a bit more decisive with who they're targeting, because if Nigma can pull off a team fight like that again... Oh, the silence in time for the dive. Nicely done from Kama.
And GH, he knows he needs to get the Yule Scepter, so he's got it queued up. It will help him out quite a bit when he can get his hands on that. And a lot of it also comes down to the pipe, right? Like, if you look at Elevate, it's mostly magic damage. Like, Dark Seer, Sand King, Crystal Maiden, even Tiny, they're all magic damage. Slark does a good amount of physical, but again, pipe goes such a long way to reducing the effectiveness of the Elevate draft.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like that's been a common sentiment for a lot of the games we've watched so far. Pipe, even through its various nerfs and changes and Ice Frog trying to make it not viable, it still ends up being such insane value. Especially into the Elevate lineup, which is it's so bonkers. Ooh, Sumail losing the Lightning on the courier there. Yeah, that's gotta sting. But, I mean, he's had a tough day so far, I'm not gonna lie.
It's not been his favorite day so far. For Venomancer, he wants to go for Glimmer Cape on Croak. I like it. Like we mentioned, it's all on magic damage. Mitigating that is going to be the win condition for Enigma Galaxy. Because when you look at Slark, this is not a hero that builds damage items. Usually he whittles you down, like takes 20 hits. He gets them out pretty fast, but it does take him a lot to kill you. So if you can just survive the initial burst, you're fine. You got heals coming out from the Phoenix as well.
Yeah, it's just about surviving that initial burst that's been the tricky part for Nigma so far. Jumping on to FBZ now. Was trying to push out the waves, being leashed in place by Karma, pulled in by the vacuum.
Heal.
So many bits of control. He should still be
Gotta
able to
get the
get
heal.
the primal split off the heal. It's keeping him up and running for now. Still leashed, can't get the split. He needs to find it. Still being worked down by Karma. But meanwhile, they're losing the team fight. So much damage from Miracle. He's swiping them all down. 3 cores gone in the blink of an eye. And Miracle, they needed him to win that fight. And in a situation where it looked like all hopes were lost a little bit there, FBZ at risk of going down, the bear comes up so big for the team.
Not just him, honestly. GH's Sunray doing so much work. You know, he's able to get like pretty much a full charge, jumps in. He does kind of take a lot of heat on himself. He was hoping to jump in an egg, but that didn't happen. But he kept FBZ alive, while the rest of the team did work. So very nicely done with the Sunray. And FBZ's itemizations, it's so good. He's got the Cloak of Flame, the Radiance, and Pipe. Lots of mitigation miss chance out of those 3 items.
Comes back to what you're saying, 4 melee heroes in the thick of things. It's just easy for the Ursa to bat them down with his paws. That's exactly what we see there. I mean, Nigma, with that fight alone, they've just reclaimed the gold advantage back in their favor. 4K up now, all these win probabilities,
Roshan.
all the early game dominance that you found on Elevate, it just washed away in an instant. And like you mentioned, Roche, it's respawning very shortly.
This and last time they took Roche, it led to Enigma Galaxies, you know, getting their foot back in the game. Now they're very firmly ahead, and Sumelia, the damage is actually racking up as well for him.
Kind of crazy how we've reached this point, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really expect Miracle to be doing so much damn work, but he's very quietly farmed up all the way to the top, even prior to that fight. And he's at that point where he's raid boss mode. We saw this happen in game number 1 that they played up against Night Pulse as well. Take a look at that graph, just plummeting all the way towards Enigma Galaxy. The win probability hasn't caught up just yet. Elevate still are in an okay position. But on the back of Big Daddy Ursa, they might just be able to do this one, Natomo.
Yeah, I mean, also, of course, this is an Ursa who took both. I mean, he's got the innate from Maul, but he's also got Grudge Bear, which means Enrage does even more damage. Well, doesn't do more damage, just does damage now. It's like the old Enrage, which used to give you a percentage of your health as damage. Now it's like, nope, I just get flat out. So he can hit very hard.
Yeah, the more damage you do to him, the more he's doing back to you. Good old revenge tactics there. You gotta watch yourself on Elevate. The last thing you want to do is power up the raid boss even more. But yeah, I mean, Enigma Galaxy really coming together on the back of this GH Phoenix pick.
By the way, I like the Grudge Bearer. It's like Enrage is 5 seconds and it lasts an additional 5 seconds. Because there's a linger duration. Like, wow. Just make it 10 seconds from the start. You don't have to tell me it lingers for 5.
Yeah, I mean, some of these tooltips, the words, you know, I think that's the thing with every new patch, right? They ship it out, you know, they present some new ideas, and then somewhere down the line they realize, okay, there's probably a clearer way to explain what we're trying to say. Dota tooltips, not really known for being succinct and informative.
There's some, like, when you look at Meepo's ultimate, it's like a whole novel. You're like, what the hell is this going on? But overall,
I remember reading the patch notes, and then I'm looking at the facets for Chen, and like, if you look at it, just at glance value, it looks so damn complicated, but in reality, it's just pick which creep you want to spawn on command, right? That's literally it. So yeah, I mean, you need someone like Purge, you know, the TLDR it for you. That's kind of why we love his patch videos.
I'm sorry, we love his patch videos, but they are nothing like TLDR. It's literally 11 hours long. What part of that is TLDR?
Okay. Well, you know, at least he breaks it down and really gets into the nitty-gritty details. Somebody has to do it. You know what I mean?
Someone's got to do the dirty work, and Per's like, all right, I'll do it again. Croaky's got the Ogre Seal Totem. So while it's not exactly fixes all the mobility issues they have, it does help a lot. You know, you jump on him, Ogre Seal Totem, you're like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's I mean, you've sang high praises about this Ogre Seal Totem. You believe it's the best tier 3 item in the game, Atomo.
I don't believe, I know it is.
Okay.
That's the truth,
right.
you know. Oh, Croaky.
The lead tier 3 item researcher has spoken. Easy pick-off for Sumail, gets it done. This is the first time we're really seeing this Wind Ranger make a solo play like that, and what a time to do it when the team is surging forward like this. Trying to pressure back Fiend, he just has to run away. There's a bear on his heels.
Are they thinking about going high ground for Enigma Galaxy? I mean, they are looking at that Tormentor as... Wow, what a steal from Delol.
Dude, you're kidding. How did that avalanche damage outdo Miracle? That's
Throw
crazy stuff.
I mean, through that one, there was like just a tiny bit left of health on the Tormentor. That's how he got it. Very nicely done.
It's kind of weird because you gotta just wait it, but now you have Crystal Clone being able to slide around on the CM, so that's a nice little bit of quality of life.
It's
Kama
huge, actually.
pushing away here, doesn't really get the Shackle Shot in time.
Whoa.
They block the pounds, but do they have a way of stopping the TP? The Gleipnir holds him in place. He needs to get that second pounce out, but he's being blocked all around by Nigma Galaxy heroes. Nowhere to run, burned to a crisp, and GH will get that kill.
I don't know how much of that is calculated, but let's just say GH knew exactly what he was doing. TP's right into the path of the jump, stops him. Gleipnir prevents him from TPing away. I'm very surprised Elevate Gaming is playing the way they are, because it seems like they could take pickoffs, where they're just like, all right, we hit and run.
Yeah, right now it seems like past 10 minutes, all they've been doing is running because Nigma Galaxy, they're back in the driver's seat, full control of this game. All the choking that you did, all the suffocation, seems to have just faded away. Mamang Daya, after that mid-fight, hasn't really felt the same. I'm still kind of waiting for this Sand King to come in and get that crazy wombo combo.
Oh.
Has that Bloodstone complete now, so additional AoE control on that Sandstorm as well as the Aghanim's and all those spines coming out. Very annoying. But
Check out what Delul's got going for. He's got the Phylactery, and he wants to go for Shadow Blade after. So a bit of interesting mix of items here. We do see Core Tiny go for like Kanda, because it is a nice bit of damage being added.
yeah. Maybe he's in that situation where he realizes, okay, maybe we're lacking a bit in the physical department. I need to shore that up for the team, because really, you're mostly looking at Kama, who seems to be struggling to put out meaningful damage in these fights.
Yes, damage in general is a big problem for Elevate. It is just a huge issue. Your Tiny might have to consider going for an Ag Scepter, because I don't think they count that. Blow me.
Okay, well, that's a CM pickoff. It's
Fine.
yeah, not the end of the world. You'll take that, but you're not too sad on Elevate. Just split pushing the wave where you can, forcing some TPs back. All of this is just burning the Aegis timer, right? Which
Exactly.
is the main issue at hand.
It's like, all right, guys, they're gonna have to chase us around. That's what we want. We want to wait until at least a couple more minutes, then we're gonna be able to take a fight. So it's not the biggest deal in the world for Boomy to die. Oh,
Aghanim Scepter complete. Oh, Mamang Daya just getting worked out. Has the Ogre Seal Totem away, best tier 3 item in the game, but
Good. Every time you say that, I'm gonna say the same thing. I was like, it's what else could have kept him alive? That's true. I suppose maybe
so
the
true.
psychic.
You're absolutely right. Ogre Seal Totem single-handedly saved him there.
Could have been. To be fair, psychic headband might have done the same thing. Like, could have pushed
Yeah, fair. It's
There's
not as
no way.
cool though.
It's not as cool. I mean, plus you do damage in the ogre. Have you ever killed someone with Ogre Seal Totem? It is so
Oh, it's
fun.
pretty funny, yeah. Oh, Fiend just being run down. Gleipnir available, perched off, but immediately there's Kuro to meet him. You get a vacuum, but it's you who gets sucked up into your own death. Nicely done from Sumail, starting to really get these pickoffs going on the
Yep.
Wind Ranger.
And while you can split push with the Crystal Maiden, her dying is not a big deal. Losing Fiend, he's out for 75 seconds. Like, that is a window that Nigma Galaxy could try to abuse.
I feel like they can try and go onto the high ground here. There's FBZ. Maybe a bit too ahead of the rest
He's
of his team.
tanky,
He has
though.
a pipe. Yeah, he's not too concerned, it seems like. Even as the Manta, just to shrug off some of these debuffs. Very cute stuff from the
Manta.
Brewmaster.
I think he's got Yule Scepter as well, doesn't he, on the broom? Like, there's so much Dispel, so much shields. He's not worried about dying. You have to look at Elevate Gaming. You're like, where is the damage coming from? I'm thinking you gotta give Tiny Aghanims or something like that. Because Darkseer and Sand King, you don't pick up DPS items. You're always like more magic. Maybe a Shiva's will help. That could be something that could get you back in the game.
Yeah, FBZ just on the front lines. I think part of the reason why we might sort of see this tiny transition into core is because the Slug just needs to be all up in the mix to do damage, but you can't really afford to do that at the moment. Here comes Miracle, committing onto Mamang Daya. There is a Wind Waker available. It's a 1v1 duel, but it's not one Karma can win. Nice Shackle Shot on the backside. Sumail trying to control them. There's the 8 right in the middle. The Sunray burning up onto this Slug. They just have to run away. The main problem for Nigma, not having stuns now. Coming back to bite them, Delul jumping forward to try and get a catch, but nice vacuum wall. Doesn't really connect on the main targets though, but now Mamang Daya in the fray. BKBs are out. Miracle still has his though, trying to turn around, but he's taking so much damage. The bear has to run away. Miracle can't continue to contribute to this fight, and now FBZ might be in trouble as well. The split still available. No way of stopping it. FBZ should be able to escape on the back of the Storm Panda. Meanwhile, Boomy takes a tumble on the front lines. Miracle coming back. Gleipnir holding them down. Sumail ready to get more. Mamang Daya able to blink back to safety. But Fiend not quite as lucky. Ends up being a 2-for-0 exchange. Looked a bit hairy for a moment there with Nigma almost losing Miracle, but again, the sustain and heals just a bit too strong for them at the moment.
I like what Elevate did though. The moment they saw the egg being used, they instantly smoked up and wanted to take a fight. But problem is, damage continues to like just elude them. They might get this kill here.
Oh, FBZ, he's
Oh,
a
he's
tanky
good
boy,
ball.
still has the Manta available, but can't get out of this one, unfortunately. The rest of the side of Nigma will just easily evacuate. That is 2 buybacks being expended. And look, it's a CM def. Sure, you know, you use your Dark Seer, that stings. But at some point, these things start to add up. And
Yes, they
they've
do.
accumulated into a 15k gold advantage, Octomo.
However, you do know that there's no Brewmaster for about a minute. Elevate Gaming could be like, all right, the guys, this is our opening. Let's go do something for our team. Also, they have 3 Ogre Seal Totems, so it's like...
So true, so true.
Yeah.
Statistically
Well,
speaking, they're in a better spot neutral item-wise, is what you're saying.
Oh,
But
yes.
unfortunately, Ogre Seal
Lol.
Totem or not, that is a clean blink out of trouble. Nicely done. Mamang Dayak here to back his allies up. Last thing you want is to take a fight without your Brewmaster, but that seems to be what Nigma Galaxy have unfortunately stumbled into. They'll lose Kuroki as well.
He's got buyback. He's
Yeah,
got
but
buyback, and it's Veno. It's not the biggest deal. It's not like FBZ who's bringing a lot more to these team fights. As well.
Ursa going for the backline jump. That is a dieback onto Boomy. Meanwhile, the 8 committed. Miracle on the back lines though. He still has his BKB available. Mamang Daya will come through, but BKB pop, that's for Miracle.
Oh my
They have the
gosh.
Gleipnir holding down onto 3. Nicely done from Sumail to keep them at bay. And they get a relatively free pick off. Sure, Miracle has to use his BKB, but that's gonna hold Elevate back for now.
You know, killing the Crystal Main like this is also not that bad for Elevate, because now it's like, I'd rather she die like this than die in a base defense where we need her to come out as soon as possible. So, you know, at least this is her dieback timer coming out. It's not so bad. And they're still elevated. Like, we can still find someone. You know, if we can just get on top of someone. We know Sumail used the BKB. He could be a target as well.
On the
What
crawl
a-
again.
I'm like at least that we're getting a lot of kills. Remember the first game where we had
Oh my god, yeah. 70
17
minutes, literally 0 action. It was
20,
it was quite a
26
tough one.
kills. That was that 1 kill every 3 minutes. That was a bit of a snoozer.
That's true. But Elevate, they want to put Nigma to bed in this game number 1 here. Snatch the Aegis away from them. Going to work on the Roche. Isn't any Raw available, but Nigma, they have to have an idea that this is happening. Dropping low, half HP already. They're a bit too
angle.
far away though. I don't think they'll be able to contest this. Gonna try. Power Shot will scout it out. It's a bit too late.
Go
Looks like
now.
they're able to grab it. Sumail trying to play intervention. No, it's
got it.
going to be a kill. Daya are able to get that last touch, but the Aegis in the hands of Karma now. Mamang Daya in big trouble though. Hidden in the sandstorm, but it doesn't turn you invis anymore. Just gonna get swiped down. Nigma Galaxy able to claim 2. Sure, you're able to get away with the Aegis and deny that from Miracle, but you've lost 2 key targets. That's a dieback on Fiend's
That's really
Darkseer.
good.
And now you can go up to the high ground again.
And you have to, right? Because you don't want to wait until, you know, they're both up and you're up against an Aegis slug. Even with your advantage, that could be a problem. So I think we guys are like, all right, 2 cores are down. One of them we know doesn't have buyback. This could be all in from Nigma, despite them facing an Aegis carrier.
Yeah, I mean, Slug, look, I mean, not even the most convincing Aegis carrier,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's only so
They
much
know
that
less
you can do in the
track.
fight. Yeah, the only thing that FBZ is missing is the split, but you still have the Ig available, which has been the main team fighting tool
Yes.
for Nigma so far. Let's put the pressure on. Buyback available for Mamang Daya. He can rejoin the fray if he wants, but Boomy just getting worked.
Ooh.
Miracle has been all over this CM. No mercy at all.
Yeah, I don't think Nigma Galaxy should be allowed to have Phoenix. They look very different when they have Phoenix on GH and when they don't. Like they
Yeah.
have, like today they've won well, they haven't won this one yet, but they look like they're set to win it. And
GH on the Phoenix is just a whole other beast, right? There's a
Yep.
reason why, I think for a large part of his competitive career, teams playing up against Liquid at the time just had to ban out all 3 of his heroes at the start. They just know exactly how to make the most out of it, and for now, that results in 2 lanes of racks, essentially for free. And they take a very convincing Roche fight. Now, Ursa doesn't want to stick around for too long. Some Ascension charges being handed over the way of Karma. With that Shadow Dance running out, there's not much of a chase left that he can manage. He just has to back up.
2 racks is down. Nigma Galaxy. This is no, it's not gonna be a dicey moment for them, but now they have to be a bit wary, right? You're up against all 5. There's an Aegis on the slug. Elevate, they might push a lane or 2 and then be like, all right, we want to take a fight on the Radiant side. Wow. So Mail, what a recovery. Remember early game where he just had the Maelstrom, it was really doing too much. Now he feels like a huge threat.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, regardless of whether Nigma win this game or not, it's still I'm still not entirely convinced, right? It kind of feels
Yeah.
like a large part of this game is on the back of GH and Miracle just doing so
Yes.
much dirty work, and Sumail,
Dirty work,
dirty work is real. Mamang Daya, quick blink away, nice reactions from the Sand King. Jumping
they wanna go
forward
back
though,
in,
Dalo
Dalo.
still trying to set up. They'll get Kuroki onto the high ground, but this is not where you want to fight. You're taking so much damage, you'll lose the CM to start. Not the biggest of deals, but what is going to follow? Fiend in big trouble, able to surge himself away. A
Nice
beautiful shackle shot. Sumail coming up big for the team right when they need him. And now this Slug just has to try and pounce away. Buyback on Mamang Daya now. Coming through and stunning up the Brewlings, but FBZ, he's completely fine. He's used to this. But just get back into his main Brewling form on the Earth, Fire, or Astro Panda. I mean, Void Panda, sorry. They're all in a good spot. Astral. It's an Astral Pull. Sorry, got there a bit confused, but it's like the Tinies gets caught out. Sentry available, able to blink out of trouble though, so that shackle shot not going to connect. But very nice set of plays there from Nigma Galaxy.
Yeah, a free kill. It's all, Sumail with a beautiful shackle on two. He has the kill. Bomi, he has just kind of been a feeding machine after the laning phase. He's been struggling on the Crystal Maid. Not really his fault. This is the what the hero gives you at this stage. High damage, but very vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah, this is the classic CM experience. I'm sure a lot of people in chat can relate to this. You know what I mean? It's a very standard position 5 experience,
sorry,
especially if you're playing Southeast Asia pubs.
That's not all how it works. Everyone in chat's like, I wouldn't have died there. And
I would have carried the game. And now Kuroki in a little bit of trouble, but he turns it around onto Kama. Maybe Kama does come around after all. In big trouble. Dies on that first life. There is an egg available, but GH doesn't even feel the need to pop it yet. He's getting control now. Dalo trying to focus down the Phoenix, but they're already losing members. Kuroki goes down, but the egg in the middle of everything. They got to run on Elevate, but nowhere for them to go. Fiend gets burnt up. Kama has to desperately pounce away, but the rest of the team of Nigma Galaxy chasing down on Mamang Daya. A lucky Invis rune gets him out of dodge. The TP away. No, Kama. You can't do that. Not into FBZ. He's pinging rampantly, trying to get the rest of the team to coordinate. The refresher shot forced. Double pounce back out. Kama should be safe in the wins.
He does have that neutral item for us.
Sumail gets the jump forward. Purging up the shackle shot, though, hiding under the shadow dance. There's GH ready to rout him as well. He's doing everything he can to get out of trouble, but the focus fire is there. Sumail on the money. And now without your Slough, GG is called. They know it's over. Elevate. It was a valiant first game attempt to put the pressure onto Nigma Galaxy, but they didn't respect Miracle's Ursa and the GH Phoenix, and they'll pay for it big time. Very nicely done.
That was really that was really played. Early on, it looked like Nigma Galaxy was struggling, right? And no stuns. We were saying this is going to cause them issues, but Radiance, we've been saying a lot about GH and Miracle. They deserve it, but FBZ with the Radiance, as well as the Pipe of Insight, Cloak of Flames, Manta, they can't kill him. It all came down to that fight in the river. They all jumped on FBZ. GH heals him. FBZ lives, and they were able to clean house. They get 3 kills in return. Then the Nigma snowball began, and it's so much. Just Pipe and Radiance on a Brewmaster, and all this damage gets mitigated.
It's kind of ridiculous when you look at the amount of damage that the Brewmaster took, because I'm looking at the stats now. 69.6k damage taken, and 70% of that is reduced. You got to, if you want to beat Nigma, look, it's been done by Night Pulse already, but you can't give them this Brewmaster, you can't give them this Phoenix, because they're way too comfortable on it. And Miracle, the only time he's really looked convincing today is on that Ursa, so you got to take that away from them, because man, they look like a whole different team.
It's crazy, right? Because when you talk about Brewmaster has bigger damage reduction than Ursa, a hero known for taking no damage during his ultimate. That is how good the itemization was from FBZ. Like, credit where it's due to Miracle and GH, but FBZ carried them in the mid game, and that's why they were able to make a comeback.
Absolutely. And Elevate, they've got to be scratching their heads there, because I can't lie, Dalol, he played a pretty flawless early game on the Tiny, right? That's about as good as you could ask for from your POS 4. But maybe just need a bit of refactoring about how they want to play around this Slug and this Sand King. Because as much as they were able to get kills, you run into the very typical problem that a Slug has, where he just can't take the objectives. And that ends up being the wall that shuts them out of game number 1. But with that, Nigma Galaxy fans maybe not needing the copium a bit more. They're looking back up and ready to put up a fight. They could still survive here in the MENA qualifiers, but that's not if Elevate have something to say about it. We'll be right back for game number 2 after a short break. Nigma Galaxy fans can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief now as they take Game 1 over Elevate, the Southeast Asian contenders coming into the MENA region of the Esports World Cup qualifiers. Permasneeze and Atomo here bringing you the action. And that game number 1, it looked a bit rough at the start, right? They had us in
Yep.
the first half.
Not
Elevate,
gonna
they were
lie.
all over Nigma. Yeah, man, it didn't really look so close, but a nice little comeback on the back of that GH Phoenix and Miracle M God carrying the game on his Ursa.
And FBZ, we gotta give credit to FBZ as well for
True,
doing so
true.
much. Even later on, we were saying like, oh, it wasn't looking very good for Smil, but later he was able to land the shackle shots you needed. FBZ, he did the game-winning move right at the end where he caught the Slark just as he's retreating. So there's a
Yeah.
lot to commend. And even like Venomancer Kroki, he was able to get farm. He gets the Greaves. You can't look too flashy on Venomancer, so he did a really good job with what he had.
Yeah, agreed. I think overall, there's a lot of. I feel like Venomancer
Yeah.
is a hero that, and hear me out here,
I am
characterizes Kuroki a lot. Because I think it's very easy to point at that hero and say it's not doing much, right? It's very easy to just kind of look at him and say, oh, he's dying, or oh, he's not contributing stuns, he's not really having a lot of apparent impact. But it's a lot of that vision control and just map pressure that they were able to alleviate, all the information that they got in team fights. And, at the end of the day, Kuro's the one who cooked up this draft, so, put some respect on the name. But Nigma Galaxy, they're not done just yet, right? Elevate Gaming,
Yeah.
they were quite serious contenders when facing up against PSG Quest in that first round, and I fully expect them to bounce back in this game number 2.
It must be something. If your name begins with a K, you like Venomancer.
Yeah.
Kuroki, Cuckoo.
Yeah, yeah.
I imagine there's someone out there should Photoshop Venomancer with those two tentacles. One of them should be Kuroki's head. One of them should be
Oh my goodness,
Cuckoo.
you shouldn't give them these ideas for free, Atomo.
Do
What are
it,
you?
do
Come
it.
on. Okay, I guess it's time to change my name to Permasneeze as well, because I too love some Venomancer gameplay. I still think it's not a high priority hero enough to
Yep.
ban it out though, but what we're seeing instead is Elevate Gaming taking out the SF as well as the TA, and on the flip side, Nigma Galaxy showing some respect there, banning out the Naga Siren that Karma has really liked to play.
Yes. Along with the Zeus that Momang Dayak, if he can get his hands on, he will. Elevate Gaming, their problem in the end, it wasn't really like anyone played bad. They actually played really well, especially in those early engagements where they can hit and run, but they ran out of damage. It was a real issue that they suffered from. You're all committed to Magic. You got Tiny, you got Sand King as well as Darkseers, all Magic.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons Sand King is not seen as a very great hero, is because Magic damage is counterable. Physical
Yeah.
damage is a lot harder to deal with.
Yeah, and the thing about Sand King's magic damage is it's not even like burst, right? If it's
Wow.
just instant, like you get 100 to 0, like maybe something like a Nyx Assassin with a Dagon, that's a different story. But Sand King relies on that damage over time and being a very big pest in the team fights. It's nothing lethal like a Punch with Rod or a Lash with his Diabolic Edict and stuff like that. So it's a very different story, but it's not going to stop Elevate Gaming from going back for that pick though.
Will Enigma respond with a Phoenix? I mean, I don't see why. Yep. They haven't lost with this hero today. Out of the 5 games that they played, the 2 wins came from Phoenix. It's great against the Sand King because you just mentioned it. Your damage is not burst. It takes a while to ramp up. And Phoenix, he's like, oh, you're taking a while? Good. I need it for my laser. Or Sun Ray, if you want to go there.
True. I mean, you can call it Sunray, that's its official government name, but we all know it as the laser, the all-obliterating laser, which isn't really surprising there. Let me see here. So, actually, interesting stat, I think. Let me just go back to last 3 months here. In
the meantime,
matches for... Yeah.
Elevate Gaming, they get rid of the Timbersaw as well as Miracle's Ursa. He's also been looking really good on throughout the day. Nigma Galaxy last ban here before we go into the main thrust of the pick phase where 6 heroes get picked up. Who do they want to worry about? I don't think they're worried about Darkseer that much. It's like if you go Sand King Darkseer again, you're having the same issue. I would imagine if you see Sand King, it's a mid lane, you don't want to go up against like a off lane Legion Commander or Slardar, because that gives you a very nice mix of damage that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, agree. And this is the point that I wanted to bring up because I
Right.
always remember Enigma Galaxy really favoring this hero regardless of the patch. And true enough, if you take a look at their all-time stats, Phoenix is their most picked hero, period, with 90 matches, and it's an overall 57.78% win rate. So it's clearly something that this team is very well practiced with.
Yep.
Really, the only components that have changed over the course of time for this roster are the core players, right? They've shifted in and out. MC most recently went to Shopify. And yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Brewmaster coming out for FBZ again.
Right. He looked good. He might, and again, you already know what you're facing. This is going to be a Sand King core. It's just how it is. You go pipe, and you're going to be able to mitigate the hero. You already have the healing as well. So Sand King, obviously, he's not a new threat from the start, but we have seen the script. We know where it's going to go. Elevate, they got to get some physical damage to pair up with the Sand King. Or objective takers like a Shadow Shaman, at least.
Yeah, I kind of want to see, and this is Shadow Demon ban, a
Oh,
rather pick that was banned out in game number 1. So Elevate will get their hands on that, but I want to see some sort of strong laning combo, right? Because if it's not going to be Mamang Daya playing it in the mid, you
yeah.
need to set it up for success in the lane. We saw a Sand King from FBZ just get kind of pushed out of the lane earlier on by Night Pulse, right? When they were playing Razor on VTune. So that's the last thing you want to happen. But Shadow Demon gives them a lot of save potential and a good little break from the team fight, as well as the Demonic Purge that can really wreck whatever carry Miracle goes for.
I also like it because this gives you a free radiance for your team. You know, you see the Brewmaster, you make a copy of him, you get the radiance. Not the easiest because a lot of times there'll be like Brewlings there anyway, and that's not. You know, you don't. I don't think you can make. You can use it against them, but it's there, and of course it has the save. Elevate Gaming, they add Mirana. In the previous game, they really struggled with eggs. I don't think a single egg was forced down. Every time the egg comes out, Elevate's like, all right, we're gonna bounce. We can't be here anymore.
Yeah, this is the classic sort of typical Southeast Asia combo though, right? The Shadow Demon Mirana, tail as old as time. You pack that in with a Sand King as well. Things are looking pretty nice for Elevate in terms of continuing that early aggression plan that they mentioned. I think you were talking about this as well, Tomo. Mirana, one of the best support 8 hitters, just
Yes.
overall, right? So giving you a lot of control already and a lot of elusiveness with those pouncers away. Now, interesting thing about the Shadow Demon innate, if it was on literally any other hero, it might be broken, but just because it's on Shadow Demon, it's actually fine. So it's called Menace, and what it does is every single one of Shadow Demon's attacks apply a stacking 2% amplified damage debuff.
Oh, nice.
That is ridiculous, and it's especially going to go a long way against this Lash that Enigma Galaxy have picked up for themselves.
I like the disruptor pick, by the way. That's going to be for Kuroki. Although, ironically, GH has played more, but you know, yeah, Phoenix. There's no way he's going to be taking disruptor. But this hero fell by the wayside. Admittedly, one of his facets, I feel like, is hot garbage. You know, the kinetic fence.
The fence, yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yo, it's cute, you know, it's cute. I like that, you know, the dev team is still experimenting with these kind of ideas, but yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. One of them is clearly way better than the other.
So, but you know, it's nice save. If someone does, sorry, I mean, it's a nice ability. If someone does get saved, you put a Static Storm on top of them as a disruptor. So that's also really cool. And now they have Leshrac for some tower damage coming out from Enigma Galaxy. It feels like a bit of a faster draft from both sides, honestly. And Weaver, first time he makes it through the mat phase and first pick of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Weaver has been such a terrifying hero, whether it's on support or whether it's on core. This game, it's looking more likely to be the position 1.
Yep.
A good matchup into a Brewmaster who can actually threaten him. Good mix of damage as well. Later down the line, you get a lot of physical packed into that bad boy with maybe a Desolator pickup or something like that. You need that damage in order to shred through the Lash and the Brewmaster before they kill off your team.
Interesting ban on the Razor. Makes me think Enigma Galaxy is going for like that one single core. Like of Miracle who can do a lot of physical damage, not like a CK or Terrorblade, where it's like, oh, I don't really mind if I get static linked.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is with Enigma Galaxy, so far it's been Razor picked up by Sumail, and they've tended to go for that pick every single time they see a Lash themselves. So I've seen a lot of teams go for Razor as a Lash answer because with the static link, you can always outdamage him and force him out of the fight. So makes a lot of sense there. The Viper is the final ban, so making sure that Sumail has a pretty decent lane regardless, taking out some of the unfavorable matchups. And on the
I
flip
think
side,
these are
Elevate,
offlane bans just because we saw Sand King mid. So maybe Enigma Galaxy is like, oh, we think it's going to be the same thing, and we're going to be picking a melee carry, and we don't want that to suffer against the Razor Viper. That's sort of the, as you young people say, vibe I'm getting.
Come on, Atomo. You,
Mm,
you ain't that much, right? Don't do
mm,
me like that. But yeah, I
mm.
mean, vibes looking good for Nigma. You know, Sumail going back for his very classic Lash. I think
Yep.
when I think of Sumail, it's always Storm, Lash, these heroes, and in that particular order. And you know, if what a better way to build confidence going into tomorrow if you sort of are able to be elevate with one of your Siggies here after what has been a very rough day for the king.
Yes, it has. But to be fair, he did make a very lovely recovery in the previous game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll see. Let's track great snowball hero, fantastic for taking objectives. Nigma Galaxy. This is a lineup where you don't really want to go into them if you elevate, but you might be forced to because buildings are just gonna melt and elevate. They ban out the Medusa. They would have been actually pretty good against the Medusa. I feel like with a Weaver, Shadow Demon, that's not too bad. But they're like, nah, it's too much problems for us.
Yeah, it's just further adding into the Nigma Galaxy bonfire of you need to deal with us because we're running at you in a ball, right? And
Pudge.
ooh, for elevate, you mean?
Maybe Pudge or something like it. I don't want to say Doom because we haven't said, but why not go for Pudge? See if you can get that going for you. Especially because with Glimpse coming out, I think you need some sort of catch, like not catch, but hook ability like that.
Is
Or
that kind
Kunkka.
of rough though? Because you know the Shadow Demon disruption illusions are gonna get in your way. You know, I've seen time and time again Sand King Pudge a bit of anti-synergy because you're trying to
Mm.
get in there, the hook gets blocked, kind of situation. I'm not really sure whether we'll see it. I mean, it has its merits against the Lash, and you know, it's a
Mm.
very tanky boy himself, but right now it feels like Elevate, they need someone to be able to run along with this Sand King Shadow Demon Mirana and
Yeah.
give them that extra bit of damage that they might be lacking in the mid game.
But I like the Pudge because I'm thinking that you might like the durability. They go for the Slardar. You know, we said this at the very start of the draft, right? You see Sand King, you want to pair it up with the physical damage off lane like a Slaughter. Works really nicely. You also got a lot of ability ways to catch people, not catch people, but track them. Bugs as well as Corrosive Haze.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
I
It's
mean,
a
with
good
the
pick.
physical damage alone, they have quite a bit of burst potential onto the Phoenix before the 8 comes out. But they
Oh,
end things off with Avenge, so we're getting
Miracle.
spicy here.
Oh
Miracle
God.
going for the Soul Strike. This build has been
Yes.
plaguing my pubs, okay? Like all these Vengers going for the Battle Furies, going for the Dragon. Like it is disgusting. I don't know
No.
whether it's good.
Dude, Kuroki's got kinetic fence. Oh no, it's gotta be Carry Venge and kinetic fence coming out on the same
Wait,
team.
what? What is this? What?
I,
Nah, he's
I
gotta be. There's no way. There's no way he rolls this.
okay, I can imagine when it's like you can put a wall in front of them and you have an egg on the other side. That's kind of a problem. You're like, oh crap. But I'm not feeling it. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the Venge either. I think Elevate's draft is looking better. As much as I want to see a MENA team advance, it's looking like we might be going to game 3 based on the drafts that we have.
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird one, especially if Kuroki really locks this one in.
Oh, he changes it.
Okay,
He
okay,
changes it.
thank
Okay.
goodness. He's just doing a little bit of trolling. You
Oh.
know, he's scaring the fans a little bit. I mean, I definitely got spooked. But yeah, it's gonna be Moonlight Shadow, so no crazy solar flare shenanigans coming out from the Mirana this time round. Any particular facets to talk about? Not really. Everything's pretty stock standard. You got the Promulgate helping out the dispersion on the Shadow Demon. There's some additional damage. Skitter Step and Lake Day seem to be the premier picks for these two
Yep.
heroes in particular. So it's all stock standard at this point. Nigma Galaxy, though, this Vengeful Spirit carry, we've seen it show its face on off lane a couple of times. In fact,
Yes.
FBC has been practicing it, but this carry hasn't really shown up yet in pro play, I think.
For people wondering why we're discussing it that way, because now that you are a melee, your attacks are melee. By the way, you are attacks are melee, but you're not melee here, so you don't get the block, but you do get the melee advantages, just like cleave, echo saber, double hit,
Yeah.
bash chances are better for you.
Yep.
Scotty's better for you. Like you get all these nice benefits. Like Orb of Venom is also great for this, but it's Venge, a hero that historically struggles to farm. So I'm very on the fence about it.
Prepare for
We'll see how it
battle.
works out.
Very
Oh,
excited to see this though, because I think it could be super cool, right? The Venge. I mean, this is like a proof of concept thing, and it's one of those games
yes.
where if it works, PSG Quests are gonna have to consider it, right? And that's the most annoying thing that can happen because that's just one additional fringe strategy that now you gotta keep in mind that Nigma Galaxy can
Oh,
pull out.
they see them. Kuroki.
Okay. Running into Fiend. This is not really a favorable situation for Enigma Galaxy just because of the sheer amount of disables that can come out. I don't think they have the advantage here, but they're muscling away the side of Elevate for now.
By the way, I want to talk about some of the innate abilities. Disruptor's innate. When I read it, I was like, this looks amazing. Every time you take what 400 damage, you sort of blink away. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean,
wanna see
you
how-
don't blink away, but you kind of do a little psychic headband thing to all
Yes.
your opponents, right? Which is pretty nifty. He doesn't really have a lot of bulk to him, so it's probably going to proc only once or twice, but
Yeah.
still, very nice for just kind of keeping yourself alive there. Especially into heroes like the Sand King as well as
Oh,
the
the Lol.
Slada, right? Oh, the Lol. Walks up a bit far forward. Mamang Daya looking for a barrel strike. They won't give it to him, though.
Yeah, there's still
A lot of tussling, man.
no skill points picked up on Disruptor. What's he gonna take? They might get Fiend. Will he take a? I think he wants to take Glimpse and use it now. There you go.
They try,
no one's
bring
there.
him back. But it's only the two supports doing most of the damage. Sumail will join the fray with the Thunderstorm. Trying to run away now onto Fiend. They kind of need
more
this
lightning.
first blood, given the fact that they lost all the bounties. First blood to Sumail, that is perfect. That's about everything you could ask for. Now, the TP out, Boomy and Delol can't really get anything else done, but they might try for the setup onto the Lash, actually.
Oh, the arrow, perfect. And yeah, I think Sumail's not making out this one. He's taking all the damage, and they do get it, bring him down. Overall, sure you get first blood in Enigma Galaxy, but as you mentioned, you lose all your bounty ruins, and a bit of a net worth advantage coming out here for Elevate Gaming.
And Mamang Daya gets a very free first wave as well. So, gold in the pocket. Sumail, you know, he gets that first blood gold, so not too bad. Oh, the courier just going down. Okay, GH not really respecting the Weaver's ability to just work that down instantly. But, oh, okay. Well, courier kills all around, it seems.
By the way, I also want to go and talk a little bit about the Vengeful Spirit innate ability. When you die, you do 10% more damage to the person who killed you. I gotta say, this is, of all the dying talents, I feel like this is one of the worst ones. You know, it's
It
like,
feels
yeah,
like so whatever, right? Like,
right.
I don't know,
I get
like...
the theme. I get the theme is like, oh, vengeance, you know, you killed me, but why can't I just get a flat out, 15% damage against anyone until I get a kill? Like, why can't
Yeah.
it be that way?
Yeah, like, I know you want to hold a grudge, but really, it's a team effort thing, right? You should be mad at everybody who conspired against you.
like,
Not
move
just
on,
that
girl.
one person who got the last hit, you know what I mean? You need a school in revenge there, it seems like, for Vengeful Spirit. And, okay, look, the big story of this game is going to be whether Enigma Galaxy can make this Venge carry work, right? Because
Yes.
they're one up in terms of the series, one away from sort of moving on and getting a rematch up against Night Pulse. I'm sure that's where they want to be for now. Pressing up onto Fiend. Not enough damage to finish him off though, but the double range has to be a bit of a problem for this Slada.
It is. He walks in, with Glimpse, Thunder Strike, minus armor. I don't know if he'll be taking any points in his aura, but whoa, Moment Dive walks in for a second. Lightning.
Nicely
Damn.
done, Sumail. He's back. This is the Lash that he's so known for, and he makes it count in the mid lane. A solo kill onto Mamang Daya.
You are such a flip-flopper, I gotta say. You know, when Sumail does bad, you're like, take away his crown. When he does well, you're like, the king is here, everyone. The king is here. Like,
That's my job. That's my
Yeah.
job. I can't be biased to one side, you know what I mean? I gotta call it how it is. Sumail's doing well.
as Delol, he's taking a lot of damage here. Will they be able to get a kill on him? No stunts for a while, but yeah, he's just dead.
Yeah, a lot of stacks for the Shadow Poison onto Miracle, but it's not gonna matter as Kuroki and Miracle just able to muscle their way through this lane. Not really the laning duo you think is this dominant, but
They
against the Shadow Demon as well as the Slada, it's working out just fine for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're just doing... Oh, nice Glimpse comes out, but do they have enough damage? Slaughter definitely a little bit more tanky than Shadow Demon, and he's going to be just fine.
Try and set up onto Miracle, but the entire play was just a ploy for Kuroki to get that Lotus, so able to deliver it back to his carry. Things are looking very swell for the Enigma Galaxy laner so far, sitting very comfortable in terms of the last hits.
You get, like, there's so much vision abilities they also have in the lane, right? Wave of Terror as well as Thunder Strike, so you can't really juke away. Once you're in trouble in the top lane as Elevate, you're in trouble. Like, there's not much you can do to get away from them. As Kuroki holding on to that third skill point. We see a lot of different opinions. Some people take the second Thunder Strike, some people like Glimpse, some people want to take the Kinetic Field. Like, level 3 on Disruptor, you really can take whatever you want. All of the abilities are good.
Yeah. Maybe not kinetic fence if you went for that facet.
He
but
doesn't
yeah,
have that. He
that's
doesn't
another.
have that.
Yeah, that's another discussion. But for now, still continuing to make space for Miracle, and it's so important because Venge not really a hero that can
Good arrow.
go jungle. GH gonna get punched down. The neutral creep
Well done.
deny though. Not getting any gold from it, Karma and Boomy, and they're gonna be a little bit annoyed about that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but still, you take what you can get. He's off the map, and that's still very helpful for you. Surprisingly, while Slardar Fiend has been suffering, FBZ is having a nice time, even though he's also up against 2 range, but not quite the same, harassing potential from these two.
You can auto attack, but in terms of setting up for a kill, it's really just an arrow landing and you're trying to chase him through the lane. But I think so far, FBZ and GH have done a good job in terms of controlling the equilibrium in the lane, keeping it in a very comfortable position for the Brewmaster to be at the top of the CS right now, 26-6.
And if the arrow misses, you can always just TP out. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's all you got. Oh, Momodai also had a solo death in the mid lane, so all lanes just really looking very nice for Enigma right now.
Yeah, I mean, we still are seeing this Elevate lineup have the potential to get aggressive. Speaking of getting aggressive, the Lul just being punched down. One last hit. They finish off Kuroki though, even with that electromagnetic repulsion, it's not enough to keep the Disruptor up and running. This is the scary bit when you face up into a higher level Slardar. These bashers start to really pack a punch.
And Disruptor, not a hero who's known who can take a hit, A couple punches to the face, and that's going to be all. Miracle at least has 2 Wraith Bands for the armor, but it's not enough. I mean, it's not nothing for the Disruptor. Nothing's going to keep him alive. Weaver. Okay. Again, FBZ is just like, so what? What the hell are you guys going to do to me? GH is actually stacking because he doesn't need to be in the lane. He knows his Brewmaster's fine.
I mean, FBZ is just having a swallow time down here. Net worth reflects that as well. Miracle not doing as well as the rest, but looks like Sumail is in a commanding position. And that's really all Enigma Galaxy have to do, right? If they can use the Lash as what you mentioned last game, the tip of the spear, they don't have really much to be scared about. He can get that early Eternal Shroud, stand at the front lines, and get saved by the Phoenix over and over, maybe even in dire situations, get a swap out from his Venge. And for now, they're pressuring the tower, wrapping around onto Mamang Daya. This Sand King is in big trouble. Still has a Barrow Strike through the kinetic field, though nicely done, but pulled back in by the Glimpse. Just easily melted down, and no help on the horizon. Enigma Galaxy get it done.
Very nice plays by them as, Boomy walks in, but he's like, probably not. Don't want to do anything there. Actually, Sumail might also consider getting a Yule Scepter at some point, or some way to remove that corrosive haze, because physical damage could be the big problem here.
Oh, look at this though, the Weaver. Very smart plays coming out from Karma. Makes his way to the Wisdom Rune, outclicks FBZ, and gets that EXP advantage. You saw it happen as soon as he realized both supports were mid, and Enigma Galaxy weren't in a position to contest that. But they're still putting a lot of pressure onto this tier 1 tower.
Very nice play. Remember the first game of the day when Enigma Galaxy did the same thing? It got them back in it against Night Pulse. This is exactly what Elevate had to do. And like kudos to Karma recognizing it as the carry. Most often, they're not the ones who are going for it, but he knows the team needs it. Will they
Kuroki looked like he was trying for a glimpse back, but level 2 doesn't really have that range on it.
Yep. It's sad when it's like once you get level 4, it's like global, but level 1 and 2 is like, my god, it's so short.
It's the most annoying thing because the second you're up against a Disruptor who's got his levels, like, you know you're never safe. As soon as he can see you, you're dead, right? Like, the range is ridiculous. Miracle being run down here by Fiend. That's what we talked about, the Slardar becoming a real problem. The Shadow Demon there to help him out, but with the swap back, nowhere for Fiend to run. Is gonna get worked down. Sumail making the most out of these early rotations, might just convert onto another kill. The Lul looking to get stunned up. No additional slows for now, looking for a Lightning Storm. But yeah, he's just able to tuck himself back into the safety of his tower, so not much else to be found there.
A couple times, Sumail was like prepping up his ultimate, but he's like, I think he's gonna dodge. I don't want to waste my time throwing it out. Nice D ward coming here from Boomy, but you still lost Fiend. He's not farming too well. Neither is Mamang Daya. Like Sumail is crushing it. The king is back, ladies and gentlemen.
The king is so back, but now Miracle might be the one taking a tumble for it. The glimpse comes through, but a bit too late for Kuroki. And nice recognition from Elevate, realizing that there's a lot of Enigma Galaxy presence in the mid lane. They have nobody up here to save their Venge.
The levels is a bit of a problem. Like Kuroki's still 4. It's gonna take a while for him to get 6. GH is 5, but he's also not gonna. He doesn't have his ultimate. Like these lack of wisdom runes are a problem. GH. Oh, yeah, he's going for it. Why the hell not?
There's still a wand available. Pops it, forces the time lapse out. Karma still on the hunt though, but GH playing very carefully around the perimeter of vision. Top
Oh,
side,
nice.
looks like they got the touch onto the low. Fiend is gonna try and commit into Kuroki. Nice swap though, Miracle saving his captain, but the illusion still beating into that poor disruptor. They will be able to work it down. So Kuro stays alive for now. Boomy still lurking around the area.
I gotta say, Karma's doing some nice work in the bottom lane. I know he didn't kill GH, but he actually used a couple of scans to see where he was, and he was hiding behind the tree to try and get him off. He didn't kill him in the end, but it's still, like, he's very active with this Weaver. And I think that's something that, if you're playing against Elevate, you're like, this Weaver, I don't think we can give it to him.
Yeah, he's definitely showing up for the squad so far.
Yep.
And I think, you know, we talk about this a lot when it comes to the Weaver. Minus armor becomes such a big factor with physical burst. Might have to hold that thought. Looks like Miracle and Kuroki under threat again. The easy setup with the arrow. This is what they picked the Shadow Demon and Mirana for. And it's a free pick-off on the Disruptor this time. Looks like Miracle just has to evacuate.
What's Miracle going for? He's going for the Dragon Lance, wants to go for Manta after. So no Echo Saber, no Maelstrom, no no proc abilities. So, okay. Again, I'm not quite sure why the Venge gives you that another melee hero doesn't exactly. So,
Yeah,
but-
that's kind of where I'm at, right? Because most of the time when we see this hero, it's like rush the Battle Fury for amplified farm. But if you're just
Yes.
going for regular standard core Venge items like the ranged items,
yeah.
then what's the point of the facet here? I mean, Miracle's cooking. I don't know whether I like what he's serving, but for now, it's Sumail who's doing a large bit of the dishing out the damage. So maybe we'll see a build come together that makes a bit more sense later on. But for now, still pretty stock standard stuff for the bench.
Exactly. But as you said, maybe it will work out. A glimpse, not far, and maybe a bit too early, but they might get the kill anyway.
Yeah, just egg right on top of his face. Sand King gets burnt to a crisp. Nicely done from GH and company. They get the tower while they're at it as well, so a nice sweeping movement to get themselves an advantage. Miracle, he immediately recognizes that Elevate will want to make a move up here on the top side, so he's playing very carefully around the outskirts of vision. The low will spot him out, but the rest of the team is actually coming through already. Kuroki there with the glimpse available, holding the low in place, and Fiend isn't in position to help out his support.
You can say a lot of things about Venge, but definitely hits hard at this stage of the game. Might lose his life in return though.
Oh, nice Static Storm holding the Slaughter in place. The swap as well, the damage mitigation. It's not going to be enough to save Miracle for now as Fiend, right on his heels, crushes down that Vengeful Spirit. But Sumail able to clean up on the front lines. Boomy in trouble. They have vision on Karma. All they need is a glimpse. Not a lot of mana left on Kuroki though, and no stick to use. He's trying to find him.
lucky.
Just needs to pop out. You better hope he don't got the range, Karma. One more little Shikuchi, and the
It's fine.
Weaver's out.
He had the item, sorry, the neutral item. He picks up the arcane ring, uses it, but just not in time. And they do get a kill on Miracle. They trade Boomy for it. A nice win for Elevate Gaming. As we mentioned, Karma is very active in this game. FBZ though, he's coming online halfway towards the Sacred Relic, which will finish his Radiance. You know though,
FPC's just had stable performances on this Brewmaster
Yes.
so far, and it's been amazing for them as a little bedrock for the team. But good try there. And it brings his own dusk, unfortunately. Karma a bit too quick on the fingers.
but he's not really farming that well this game. We usually find him top of the net worth. This time he's at the bottom of all the cores. It's not that big of a deal though. He'll still have his Radiance at a decent timing.
Ooh, Kuro. No Static Storm, but still wants to set up onto this. I mean, surely he has the distance, right? It's only level 3 Glimpse. Yeah, you can't
Yep.
catch it. That was ambitious to say the least from the captain of Nigma.
Sumail's got the Kaya, so he's never running out of mana. Just wants to go for the Bloodstone after, making himself very difficult to kill after that. Mamang Daya haven't really felt the Sand King in this game so far. 0 and 3. He wants to get the Agam Center. It's going to be helpful, but I don't know. Maybe the catch with the Blink Dagger might be something that gets you online earlier.
Of goes back to what we were saying about the Sand King in the previous game as well, where they are running into flat-out damage problems, right? They
Yes.
don't have enough burst to take down these heroes, even with the stun setups. Now, they might
Okay.
try for Kuroki here.
Miracle.
Miracle will be a much better target. They jump forward, but they kind of a bit of split attention. They go
Arrow
to
lands.
Kuro for a bit. Arrow lands though. Miracle in big trouble. No way of getting out. He needs a swap target. Throws it out, and the egg in the middle of
Karma.
everybody. This could be troublesome. They lose Miracle, and the egg looking likely to pop as well. They aren't able to finish it off in time. And now Sumail is starting to rampage the entire side of Elevate. This is disastrous as Karma goes down. FBZ doesn't even need to pop a split, and it's perfect for Nigma Galaxy. I mean, they lose Miracle, but that is just about as bad as it can go.
Oh man, Karma was so committed to the kill on Miracle. Even though the swap comes out, beautiful swap, Sumail is able. Well, I don't know if he had any choice in the matter. He's like, all right, I'm gonna be helping out my partner. He loses life. Glimpse is there. Might be losing
Static
Mamang
Storm.
Daya.
There's the setup. You have the regen rune running, but you just can't stand up into the Lash. Shocked down, and Sumail is wicked sick. What a performance from him on his Lash. And I mean, 7-14 now with 3k gold advantage. Kuroki's still trying to put up the pressure. Will find an arrow and a Starstorm for his troubles, but you gotta clear the way because the second he gets vision on you, it's gonna be a glimpse back into your death again. Meanwhile, split down in the bot side, trying to commit onto Fiend. GH in some trouble, dives away from the Weaver, but Karma on the hunt now. They will get the kill on the Phoenix. I say that should be one last little Fire Spirits. That last little Geminate attack will seal the deal. So FBZ not able to help his his support there, but still. A lot of space being created by Nigma all over the map.
This is such a good snowballing draft from Nigma, right? Like, you Glimpse always gets you that +1 kill. Leshrac always takes those towers. You Elevate Gaming, they're playing very careful. You know, they're trying not to give us anything in the map, but you can't, you know, you have to engage at some point, and they are a little bit behind right now. Still, some items will be, I want to say some items will come in, but Mamang Daya is still very far from his Aghanim Scepter.
And this is not a really good look. The win probability doesn't really put Elevate so far down yet. I think they stand a pretty good chance in the mid game, right? Once they get their first few items, the Slardar immediately rushing that shard because he understands his only job is to get in there and reduce the armor for Karma to go to work. Same kind of situation for Mamang Daya where he's trying to control the middle of the fight, put the Lash in a bad spot and hopefully burst him down. It's going to be a while before Miracle comes online as well, right? He's tanked quite a few deaths, working his way towards what seems to be the Aghanims now.
Well, at the same time, though, it feels like you don't really need Miracle too much. You already got the other 3 guys doing a lot of work, and FBZ he's about to finish the Radiance, so then he's going to be a lot more active with the team. And I think that's scary. Those 4, you don't need Miracle. He's actually like level 9. He's not exactly a high level or anything, but he's just doing, it kind of doesn't feel like a carry, more like just a fighting core right now.
Yeah. Space creation, Sumail the real carry. Set up onto the lull. Nice disruption dodge on the magic missile, but he's able to walk himself out of here for the most part. He'll dive forward as well. A nice crush, but Static Storm. Kuroki was prepared. They have an egg available, but GH watching his parameters, waiting for the opportunity. It's an egg on the right side of the... Yeah, I mean, they managed to cut off the Weaver. Nicely done. I thought for sure Karma would be able to get out there, but unfortunately routed. And now looks like they're chasing further on onto Boomy. That Lightning Storm is going to reveal that there's vision on the high ground, but it's not going to matter because Boomy will be going down as the Nigma Galaxy bullet train just continues to roll forward.
And by the way, another fight where Mamang Daya is just not there. He does not want to commit. He wants to get his Aghanim Scepter, not willing to be there for the team in these situations. Slardar jumps in, not enough damage, and actually Slardar might be in a lot of trouble here. Glimpse comes out, but not ideal.
Oh, beautiful little field there. Keeps him in place. The fish is just caged, and he will get punched down. I mean, this setup has just been perfect over and over from Kuro and Sumail. They've been running around, making things happen. It's the perfect snowball lineup, like you mentioned. But now if the Aghanims complete on Mamang Daya, maybe Elevate can try and turn things around.
He does. I mean, you need the Blink Dagger to get on top of people as well. Like, the Aghanims is nice, but it's Blink that allows you to actually do the damage on top of people. The one thing that I can say for Nigma Galaxy is with the way the draft is, they might run out of steam at some point. You know, Miracle's not really getting those levels. Saying FBZ's not going to be scaling anymore damage-wise than this. Boomy's probably going to be scaling out of life right now.
I mean, this snowball just keeps on going, and it's so easy to sustain. Everywhere you go on the map, it's just a glimpse back. As long as they have any semblance of vision of you, which is kind of easy to get with how aggressively forward FBZ is playing.
Yes.
It feels like Elevate are just left to the scraps on the map, right? They need to tuck themselves into these little corners, farm as safely as possible. There's nowhere really for them to go, and I wonder at what point they're going to feel comfortable enough to try and take a fight into this overwhelming amount of force from Nigma Galaxy.
It's even scary to split push, right? Because the glimpse is always good. It's like, oh, you split push, we can still catch it from a mile away. Although Kuroki does not have the shard ability, which, is not as good this patch. He's got quite a bit of nerfs.
Yeah. I mean,
Still
you did
good, though.
mention it at the start where, Elevate, like we mentioned, as much as they are abiding by the rules and reside... Okay, I have to hold that thought because FBZ might just be dead. Able to pop the split though. And back to the problem of not having enough damage. I mean, you have another situation where Mamang Daya, maybe a burrow strike or something like that would have changed things around, but he's busy messing around in the bot side.
Hopefully he gets... maybe, again, if he gets a Blink Dagger, he might be able to show up for the team and help them out. They do use the Moonlight Shadow. They feel like they can get a kill. FBZ's ultimate is down. This is an opening for Elevate.
They're trying to stream forward, but that Moonlight Shadow was spotted by the Nigma Galaxy heroes. The lingering Brewling spotted that out, and Kuroki might just sacrifice himself for the cause. He knows that there's a gang coming, but he sets up for the Static Storm onto the Karma Weaver
Nice
instead,
crush.
but it's a beautiful crush. Onto 3, but the stun, it's there for Sumail. The time-lapse just at the very last moment, keeping Karma
There's more
alive.
Daya.
Mamang Daya showing up to the fight, like you said, but he doesn't have a blink available. He's relying on just the good old walk up and stun them tactic. And that's not really going to pan out. Elevate, they just have to back up. So as quickly as the window opened for them, it very firmly shuts.
Yep, and he's not going for the blink. He wants to get Eternal Shot. He buys the cloak. He's committed to it at this point. So again, well, Nigma Galaxy, they're just outmaneuvering them with all these displacement abilities and ability to take towers so fast.
It was honestly a little scary. I thought Kuroki was just resigning
Same.
himself to his fate, but he was so ready to turn around the Static Storm, almost killing off Karma. And that would have been huge. But still, I mean, Sumail, Lash, completely uncontested still. Bloodstone, Kaya Sanj, Light Collector, he has everything he could ask for. And hell, even a GH Phoenix heal to back him up.
Yeah, he's 10-1 and 9. What was he? 7? 10, yeah, 10-1, 7 on the Slash rack. Looking very unkillable at this point. Well, and Nigma Galaxy, I think, considering going high ground, probably would prefer to just wait for this Wisdom Ruin, take Roshan, and then decide what their next move is going to be.
Yeah. Miracle has that Aghanims completed, so the second life will be very obnoxious for the side of Elevate to deal with, especially those supports, right? Sure, you can create illusions with the Shadow Demon, but it doesn't really amount to much when she's busy killing off your heroes.
GH is able to stop Boomy from taking the Wisdom Ruin as well, so no extra EXP for Elevate Gaming right now. And they have a problem. No one really is building in towards a Skadi, a Shiva's Guard, which would really go a long way to reducing the heal from Nigma Galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about the perfect situation for Elevate, right? Where maybe they get the Shadow Demon ulti as well as the full bits of control onto the Lash. They focus him down and try and burst him. But even then, you're thinking about, like, what? The Sunray heal coming in. He's so bloody tanky, and you always have that defensive swap potentially coming out to save him as well, which is going to be a big problem. They found Fiend. Oh no, the Thunderstrike ahead of that crush and pulling him back into the fray now. He still has that initial move speed from the Leg Day, but finds Miracle and finds his death. That is a kill on the Slada. And the vision control, the map movement, everything has been just hitting from Nigma this game.
And I just keep looking at Sand King, wondering, like, they've committed to it in Elevate Gaming 2 games. First pick, Sand King mid, twice. But in game 1 it looked okay. In game 2 so far has yet to really... He's got 1 assist. That's it. That's all he's got. He's got 1 assist and 3 deaths to his name.
I mean, look, I get it, right? Elevate, they're trying to come into MENA, they're trying to get a slot, they think they can beat Nigma. But I don't know if you know anything about MENA, but they're very comfortable in Sandy situations. So they're not worried about this silly little Sand King at all. In fact, FBZ is familiar with it, and I think part of why they're dealing with it so nicely is because Nigma had that experience where they tried to make FBZ Sand King work. They realized all the problems that it deals with, and they're taking advantage of it perfectly. It looks like Boomy, you're trying to cut a creep wave. Looks like you're dead, buddy. It's another easy kill. Can't pounce through the fence, unfortunately, and we'll just get worked down by Miracle.
Yeah, exactly. Right now we have the Deserts of Druid event going on. It's like we just all get passively buffed. Every MENA player is like, plus 20% efficiency.
True. Yeah. I mean, Elevate, they, again, a bunch of Southeast Asia players trying to find an opportunity here, but unfortunately, the deserts are not your friend. And Nigma will usher them a very quick exit if they are able to win this game over here. Elevate. Bunch of hopefuls, you know, new Orc backing them up. Always love to see Orcs come in and support the tier 2 sort of, or at least pick up some of these stacks that are widely considered to be tier 2, give them that infrastructure and opportunities to succeed, but it's not their time just yet, it seems like. Another catch out onto Mamang Daya. The setup has been perfect from Kuro. Not stopping now with the swap back. Mamang Daya can't barrel strike down to the low ground. He will try and hide in his Sandstorm. There still is a disruption available. The Aghanim starting to come into play, but Sumail is right there, packing in the damage. And all Boomy can do is watch as his core just dies again. 8-22. The gold lead isn't substantial, but Nigma Galaxy are in full control.
I mean, they do have the pipe on Boomy. That goes a long way to reducing damage from the Radiance, from the Phoenix. But it's like, well, your buildings are being knocked. Someone's got to start this. Look at this. You have a split earth and a laser. How do you jump into that? The question is, the answer is you don't. Just let it go.
Yeah, not to mention you still have that primal split available. FBZ's been holding on to that and he's not really been threatened enough to have to do it. Miracle just swapping in all willy-nilly. Free kill onto Boomy, why the hell not? I mean, Miracle, he's playing fearless this game, and really with Sumail at the helm and playing like this on his lash, there's nothing to be afraid of. This is looking like a very quick 2-0 unless Elevate can do something to stop it, but the momentum, it is way out of their hands, man.
I really like how Miracle played this bench. He didn't go for like, oh, I'm gonna farm and go late. He's like, no, I know this hero caps out pretty early. You know, it's not like the most amazing late game hero. Wins the laning phase, helps this team out right now, realizing Leshrac is the true carry. They know they're on a timer. You know, it's like they know that's like we can't really go ultra late, so we're just gonna be finishing out. I'm surprised by the win percentage being that low for Nick. It's like I would think this would be 80% at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they still need to try and break this high ground, but for now, Mamang Daya being swapped back in. Fortunately, the kinetic field is not gonna find its mark. Mamang Daya still in the middle of his Sandstorm, doing quite a bit of work. Punching them out, FBZ just gets full control. The Static Storm comes out a bit too late. And could this be the turnaround that Elevate were looking for? At least it's gonna be a defense on the high ground. Controlling onto Sumail now, dropping low on this lash. First life down. Elevate seem to be doing it here. Miracle just gets worked down on his first life as well. Sumail's in trouble. Swap back to safety. GH still has the egg. Still waiting to pop it. Finally out it comes, but there's the BKB from Karma. Focusing down that Phoenix, and they're able to kill it off. Sumail is dropping low, and they kill him off as well. 4 members of Nigma Galaxy down, and Elevate not ready to tap out the MENA region just yet. Kuroki has to run, but Karma always comes around, and is ready to clean up big time. Waves a hand to try and give him a high five. It'll be his death that he finds, and it's a full team wipe for Elevate. Nigma getting a bit too comfortable on the high ground.
There was a bit of luck there, to be fair with you. Like the stuns coming out from the Sand King landing just when you need it on FBZ. They do bring him down, and as we mentioned, he's always been the tank for the team. He drops, suddenly Miracle jumps in, loses his life. Sumail also has an Aegis he is forced to use, and the physical damage from Elevate, it is right there. How is it increasing for Nigma? They just lost a team fight.
I mean, I'm not gonna worry so much about this win probability anymore. I'm just gonna trust my gut. And what my gut tells me is that if Nigma lose 1 or 2 more fights like this, this early timing that you were mentioning, Elevate are going to hurdle past it, right? This Shadow Demon is working towards its own Aghanims, and that is going to be a major problem for these Nigma Galaxy heroes.
Because we were just saying, like, Miracle, he knows he caps out early. He's been playing a wonderful game of trying to get end this as soon as possible. But at less than 1,000 gold lead, it is a scary-ish situation. Miracle,
now Miracle being initiated on. There's the BKB from Fiend. The Static Storm isn't going to do much. Mamang Daya, very tanky on this Sand King now, not really under threat. Yes, the Eternal Shroud, there's the Glimpse back. They don't manage to pull in someone successfully though. Must have been a disruption to save him. But Mamang Daya still pumping out a lot of... Yeah, he is one tanky boy. They kill off the lull on the back lines. That disruption saving Mamang Daya for now. Do they have a second glimpse? Do they have vision? Hiding away under the cover of his Sandstorm. They need to find him. No! But the glimpse back right in the nick of time. Kuroki, he might be older, but he still has that reaction time. Don't put some respect on his name, man. I mean, he's right there with the glimpses every single time.
Yeah, he almost gets it off on the star as well. And you can see Karma immediately is like, I gotta be cutting creep waves. I do not want them to reach our side of the map. Unfortunately, I think there's a creep wave already pushing in for Nigma Galaxy. Mama Dai might have to buy back. You might need him to for this fight. You can't take it without him. Or you just give it away. Like, we're just going to be giving this one 20 seconds. Can they hold? Looks like they will, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for now, it's not over just yet, right? The
Yeah.
cooldowns are still really low on the death timers. So Mamang Daya can come back into the fray, but again, Enigma Galaxy, they're gonna have flashbacks of that previous fight replaying in their head. They want to try and make sure they do this cleanly. First rack's down. No harm, risk, or at least no point risking it when you don't have
Yeah.
to, right? You can just walk back. It still is a while until that next Roche is spawning, so maybe you just play it chill, get back to farming, just control the map again.
You don't have FBZ's split as well. It's just now, right now they're like, we know we're not exactly in fighting shape. This could be Elevate taking it though. They have all their ultimates available except for Moonlight Shadow. So
I wonder whether they're gonna come out though, like, not really sure what.
they're being quite. I mean, they have all their ultimates now, even Moonlight Shadow. Do they want to start, getting something going? How close is Mamang Dai to his Blink Dagger? What's his goal looking like right now? Alright, we'll just check it out later, I suppose.
I mean, he is not actually going for it. He has more than enough gold for the Blink Dagger, but he's opting for the BKB instead, which, to be honest, I think is
He
the right
does
choice.
yeah, I agree. It does need. At this point, it's like getting Blink Dagger. It's not gonna be changing too much. You have enough mobility as is, and I agree with that. Like the BKB is gonna be helping you out way more, especially because we're not seeing Aghanims coming out on Kuroki anytime soon.
Yeah, Moonlight Shadow coming out though. Elevate, they're hungry for a fight. They're looking for a target. Then we wrap around. They don't expect the heroes to still be lingering in their triangle, maybe trying to catch somebody on the retreat.
Craggy Coat on Leshrac, great item. He recognizes that magic damage is not really an issue for me, but physical damage is a problem. Craggy Coat gives you what, like 20 armor when you activate it. It's pretty obscene.
Radiant are scanning.
It's not too worrisome as well. Oh, they got the jump
Jump
onto
Miracle.
Miracle. It seems fine though, because he still has the backup of his team. Mamang Daya now under a lot of trouble. They have their full attention on him. Nice
Well
disruption
saved.
saves him for now. They're looking for GH on the backline, controlling the Phoenix. But meanwhile, they're losing Mamang Daya on the front. They've lost Phoenix on the back though, so no egg for this fight. Nicely done from Elevate to start this engagement. And now it might just be Enigma's time to back up. They can't actually afford to fight without the Sunray. Mamang Daya coming forward for the chase, but so much damage coming out from the Lash. Just shocks down that Sand King. Here comes Karma trying to save the day. Gets the kill on the support, but still, Leshrac is standing and Leshrac is strong. You got to run. You just can't stand up against that sheer magic damage that's coming
Good
out.
legs.
FBZ, the big bad bodyguard, holding it down for the squad. No Phoenix, no problem. They'll buy back on Kuroki just to get that glimpse onto Fiend. And now Kuroki, oh, he's at risk of dying back here. He needs to get that bug off him. Will narrowly do so. As Karma tried for a sneaky low grab there. Buyback on the Shadow Demon as well. They understand this might be their last stand.
But then again, GH is not really there. It's going to take a while for him to get there. And same thing with the Kuroki, who I believe had to run away. Oh, wait, no, actually, right there, we're going to be joining the fight. This is... If you can get Fiend to buy back, that would be a nice win for Enigma Galaxy. But you already got a couple of big ones as is.
Yeah, true. Mamang Daya trying to be as annoying as possible, but the problem is he can't get up close because there's a Lash stun right in his way. The last thing he wants is to get
Arrow.
caught out. It will arrow onto FBZ. There's no split available, but this is still the tank, the designated frontliner. They will just go back and find GH, though Karma and Fiend have been really on top of singling out the Phoenix. And now without their backup, looks like Miracle's in some
Miracle.
trouble as well. Controlled up by the Sand King Aghanims, a full epicenter on his head, and he will go down. So switching into that Vengeful Illusion now. Karma still trying to chase forward, but he understands that this Brewmaster, unfortunately, is not a viable target. They will settle for the Venge Illusion. So still, a defense being mounted by Elevate successfully.
Does cost them a buyback on Fiend. At the same time, by the way, they haven't been able to really deal with Sumail any reason. Like, he's just fine all of these fights. He is a true carry, and he's having a fantastic time so far. Shiva's got picked up as well. How much armor does this guy have?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
41.
Yeah. It is pretty scary, and you're not even considering maybe some of the auras that might come in later down the line from his teammates as well. But so far, gotta commend them where it's due. Elevate have been doing a good job in terms of taking Phoenix out of the fight, right? That's the first step to success there. Now you just need to make sure you're slowly picking them apart. You'll start off with this Roche though. FBZ in the area, ready to contest. Roche dropping low. Is gonna roll in, grab that split immediately. They're trying to contest, but already... The Age is going the way. Wait, Wait, Mamang Daya forced to grab it because they killed off Karma! The stun, that's not what you wanted from Elevate! And Mamang Daya will lose his first life. Fiend pulled back in. The glimpse timing is perfect from Kuro. And this Sand King just has the TP away. Can they stop it? They see him, but they won't be able to pull him back. But still, that is just about as good as you could ask for. Nigma, they can just barrel up to the high ground now.
I was like, wait, Roshan seems to be living a lot on that sliver of health. And then you realize, wait, Weaver's not doing anything. They don't have buyback on Slaughter. So it's, you know it's going to be a 4 versus 5. You at least... it's tough. It's a tough situation. It's generally been like you've been using Slaughter always to bring down the Phoenix. You don't have that option anymore.
I wonder whether Karma needed to pop that BKB there because the stun completely ruined his plans. Maybe they didn't expect Nigma Galaxy to be so nearby given how fast they were ripping into that Roche, but Nigma, they understand the only way they can potentially give up an advantage is if they let Roche fall to their opponents, and they don't make that mistake. Mopping up the final lane of Rex now. Sumail on the front lines. Doesn't need a second life when he has his whole team behind him.
And you don't want to buy back if you're Karma. With only a few seconds left, it looks like he won't need to. At least I'm going to say his racks are going to survive, but not much longer.
They need to try and mount some sort of defense, but so far their only initiation has been Fiend, and they'll just have to give up this lane. And just like that, I mean, Mega Creeps, the way of Nigma. Elevate, about to be ushered out of the MENA region as soon as they came by the Guardians themselves. Swap back in, Boomy is gone, Miracle. Again, he's been playing such a sacrificial version of this carry Venge, but it's worked out perfectly. Mamang Daya desperately trying to hold the line with his Sandstorm, but it moves around with him, and unless he's on the front line, he's not really getting much done. Disruption saves him for now. In comes the Crush. Fiend is back in the fray, and they're trying to focus down Sumail, but he is completely fine. Who is even doing damage to him? They will kill off Miracle, but now Mamang Daya is in trouble. Still working onto Kuroki, but the BKB's run out. The swap is there, and the damage mitigation, it's perfect. Karma gets Yulzed up, no support kills for you. Melted down into a crisp. Fiend will find it, but Fiend will find his death. GG, well played as Elevate. They get a very swift goodbye. Nigma will move on for a rematch up against Night Pulse tomorrow in the lower bracket finals.
It was so close to being a comeback. It was so close because that mid defense, the FU kills, they bring down the net worth deficit to just 1K, and you're like, Elevate. Your lineup can go late, not so much for Enigma Galaxy. And in the end, though, Enigma Galaxy had too much of a snowball rolling. It's really all Sumail with that. And of course, Kuroki keeps, they keep him alive and do a really good job. But Sumail was so good at making sure that the team kept going with the snowball. And that is going to be Elevate, our first MENA team out of the Riyadh qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, maybe those were the expectations in terms of coming into this bracket. When you look at the teams, you'd be thinking, okay, maybe Night Pulse or Elevate will be the first to say goodbye, but gotta give credit where credit is due. I think Elevate did put up a pretty good fight. They brought some interesting ideas. Unfortunately, Nigma, after that break, after the first game against, or at least the first series up against Night Pulse, it's clear that they sorted something out because they look like a whole different team.
Yeah, and they were able to get the Phoenix 2 times in a row. That's one thing that I think any team that's going up against them is like, all right, don't give them Phoenix. GH is just too good with this. That's what, and FBZ, like they're getting their comfort picks. FBZ, Brewmaster, GH, Phoenix. You win one lane every time. Sumail, a lot of times he's just a very mechanically skilled player. He always comes out really well in the laning phase as well. And Kuroki, he's been honestly a lot. This guy gets crapped on a lot. He's been looking like he's on fire today in all the games that we saw.
Yeah, I think, it's easy to point a finger like we were mentioning last game, but I think this game, it's undeniable that as much as Sumail had a standout performance, everybody was really hitting what they needed to, especially Kuroki, right? You need to be on point with those glimpses. You need to be right place, right time to further the advantage for your team, and he was everywhere. Everyone was getting glimpsed every 30 seconds, it felt like. And really nice stuff overall, and with that, Nigma Galaxy fans can breathe a sigh of relief as they're not out of MENA just yet. In fact, they still stand a chance to maybe topple PSG Quest, who look like the undisputed best team so far, but that's not if Nigma or Night Pulse have something to say about it.
Yeah, but that's going to be tomorrow. That's going to be later on. I don't think we'll be doing that game, which is unfortunate. This is kind of our involvement with the region, but it was a lot of fun, particularly this game. It was nice to see Nigma Galaxy do as well as they, and it was nice to see Elevate Gaming come out and put up a good fight, especially like it's so on the cusp of them winning both of these games. But so kudos to them for making this as competitive as they could.
Yeah, and I don't know whether Elevate, their long-term plan is to continue competing in MENA, but I do hope this team sticks together because there are very recognizable names there that we've seen narrowly miss out on success in the past. So if they're able to stick together, show up on some of their problems, I'm sure this will be a roster to keep an eye out for. But for now, unfortunately, we need to bid them goodbye as it's Nigma Galaxy who moves on. Let's take a quick look at the brackets again, just to end off the day to see how we've gone so far. So of course, at the start of the day, we did see Elevate Gaming take an early 2-0 tumble to PSG Quest. And of course, the match that we were casting was the Nigma Galaxy versus Night Pulse, which honestly, that result kind of surprised me.
Same. And especially because the game one Nigma looked so good. Sure, it took them 70 minutes, but you had to. Like they were the situation where it's like, we're gonna have to win. It's gonna take us forever. They did it. But game 2 and 3 was awkward. They were like rushed out, and we saw them making plays that they really didn't need to. The Night Pulse, well, they had great bans, to be honest. They made sure they didn't get the Phoenix and the Brewmaster, which has been, as we mentioned, the core of success for Nigma.
Yeah, and I think the biggest question going into tomorrow, as we can see, the lower bracket finals will be played first before deciding who will go up against PSG Quest in the grand finals. The biggest question for Kuro and March will be, what are we going to do when they ban out our Brewmaster and our Phoenix? Because that's been the cornerstone of the success so far. They're going to have to cook up something else if they want to beat Night Pulse. But that will be for tomorrow. Like you said, Otomo, that is the end of our involvement with the Esports World Cup qualifiers. It's been blast covering the day for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the matches. And there still are many other matches happening across the different regions. In fact, I believe Western Europe is finalizing their representatives right now. It's Secret versus Entity. On one of the other streams, in case you can't find the stream itself, you can just search EWC_Dota2. Whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Twitch, I'm sure you'll find it. But any final words from you, Otomo, before we send it off for the day?
I apologize for my voice being how it is, guys. I felt sick today. I tried my best. Premises has been an amazing partner carrying the cast. And now our producer was like, "Shut up, Atom. We'll let him do all the talking." But thanks everyone for tuning in, and for we apologize for the hiccups, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nigma fans, you can keep your bat chests alive as we can move into tomorrow and hope for the best. Let's see whether they can topple Night Pulse and PSG Quest waiting. But watch the rest of the Esports World Cup qualifiers across our different Twitch streams. But for now, for Permacenes and Otomo, we'll be signing off. See you guys again.